Good afternoon, Geek. Ah, the old arena draw. This program was sweet when it worked. My morning's been alright. It's really been kind of a different life for me for the past 3 weeks or so. I've never had a regular sleep schedule, and I don't just mean time, like about getting up and going to bed early. I mean, like, I can never fall asleep at the same time and stuff. But, I've been taking this melatonin, it's really been helping, and now I've just been sleeping like clockwork and getting up in the morning and running errands and... Hey, kitty. Shut it. So, I've been getting used to kind of having a schedule, like knowing exactly what time I'm going to wake up and go to bed and stuff. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's definitely beneficial, but it's different. So, this is an off-stream draft, obviously. We're 4-2, so probably not too many games left. Possibly one, hopefully 3. Yeah, I don't think it's for everybody. I mean, I think like people probably have a wide variety of reasons they struggle to sleep. And, if melatonin deficiency is the reason, then it probably works great. If it's not, then it probably has no effect. Because I don't think it's like the kind of thing you just can have more and more and more of, you know what I mean? Like if your brain already makes the right amount of melatonin, then taking more melatonin is not going to do anything. Hey, thanks for the subscriptions to start the week. Appreciate it, Pitaku and 170 Roger. What's up, Toto MTG? Glad you could catch me live. Good afternoon, Buy a Canary. My cat might agree with that, although probably for nefarious reasons. What's up, Ixo? Stephen Wood. I have not done any of the Arena Cube. If I get bored of Zendikar, I would definitely do it. Like, I'm not against it. But I've heard it's a pretty high-powered cube, not really something I'd probably enjoy that much. And I really like Zendikar. Like, all weekend off-stream, I draft Zendikar. Like, when I go to the casino and I put in a poker sesh, I'll play for like 4 hours. Then when I need a break, I'll do a Zendikar draft and take like, 45-minute break, and then I'll go play for another 4 hours. Like, I just really, really like this format. Like, I'm not getting bored of it at all. There's still 3 ahead of us. This is my off-stream draft. Like I said, I'm 4-2 in games, so we're probably going to be in a fresh draft pretty soon. Possibly after this game. Hopefully, we'll get to play a couple more in this one. Meowvin. Ariel agrees. Greed is good. You know it, 170 Roger. Look, I know a bunch of people are going to ask about Cube. We need, like, Command Cube. Ben doesn't love Cube, but he does love Zendikar. Look, I mean, I'm not anti-Cube. The lower power, the better. I wouldn't hate playing this Cube, but I think I like Zendikar a lot more. And I really like this limited format, like I keep saying. I live in South Florida. Yeah, I play all live. I don't play online poker at all. Exclusively live. Alright, let's see. We want to play our stuff pre-combat, because that's going to pump our bug catcher. Rogue and a wizard, and then we'll get 3 mana. Oh, wow. We're going to play 4 cards this turn. Am I playing Storm, or am I playing Zendikar Limited? I might be playing Storm. I'm not really sure. 3 mana. 3 mana. 3 mana. Not a bad turn 4 for Limited, huh? Hi, D-Hatu. D-Hut. The Hut. Pizza Hut. Sure, I mean, I appreciate that you'd like my take on Cube. I mean, it's a compliment. I'm not like, I'm not like offended. I'm just explaining that, personally, the higher power something is, the less I enjoy it. I've heard this Cube is pretty high power, and Zendikar is really balanced and low power and fun and just interesting, and I just really enjoy this format. Alright, so that can turn into a 4-2. I'd happily trade with it. It's kind of weird for them to attack here if they don't have a trick. But am I going to get blown out? Like, if they have, like, a subtle strike, they can, like, kill my Electromancer, but they can't even kill my Sneaking Guide and my Electromancer and have the Intimidator live, right? So if they have, like, a subtle strike, it's just a 1-for-1. Like, I guess this is a good trade for me. I don't see why I wouldn't make it. I don't know why they're making this attack. I'm sure they have reasons, but like, even if they pump and Subtle Strike, yeah, then the Intimidator lives and the Electromancer dies. But it's not like they can also kill the Sneaking Guide. They have to use both halves of Subtle Strike on that combat if they want to keep the 3-1 around. So, I mean, that was just a good trade for me. I'll take it. Alright, so we don't have a land, so our choice this turn is either, we have 2 lines. We can Sneaking Guide the Night Runner in, and then if we hit a land, we can play it for free and play the Champion, and that'll be really awesome, because then we'll have 5 lands. But if we don't hit a land or a 2-mana or less card, then we lose the card and we cast nothing this turn. So that's one line, because if we hit a card that costs 2 or less, or a land, it's pretty good. Or we could just cast Champion and, like, attack. They only have 1 Rogue out, they don't have Death Touch. What are their blocks like? The 3-2 could trade with Skulker or the Chandler. If they double block, I'm fine with that. Bugcatcher's what, a 4-2, so they can trade it for Skulker and take 2 or whatever, I'm fine with that. I think I'm going to be greedy. I mean, you know me. Greed is good. I'm looking for lands. If we hit a land, this is great. If not, we can still hit a 2-mana card and then play that. So I'm going to sneak in the Night Runner so that we'll get a card. And hopefully it'll be a land, and then we can just play the land and play the Champion. And, like, if it's a 2-mana card, that's good too. Then we'll just play it. As long as we don't hit a 3 or more mana card, then this works out pretty well. But, I mean, we're winning the race unless they, like, have some surprising stuff. I mean, even though the life totals are 14 and 9, like, we're attacking for, like, 9. They're at 12 because this is unblockable, so, I mean, if they make this block 2 trample to 10 and 3 from the Electromancer, they're already down to 7. So I'm not that worried about the attack back. So let's try and draw cards. Alright, I would have rather the land, but I'll definitely not complain about the 2-mana card. I think I'm going to put the counter right on it. The only way I would have complained, really, if it was a 3-mana or more card. Hey, thanks, Dropsby. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you, Enderol Raziel. Appreciate the compliment. Hope I said your name close to right. Thank you, Ezra Blacksmith. Really appreciate the subscription. Let's see. So with 1 red, they can't really do much. So, I mean, we can make the same play as last turn, Sneaky and the Night Runner, and it's even better this time because we can play the Vanguard if we don't hit a land and the Champion if we do. We can't double spell otherwise, so that seems pretty automatic. And then do we send the other 2 creatures? The Electromancer, if they double block, we trade with the Chandler, that's good. If we trade with the Vanguard, that's fine. The Survivor can bounce off the Chandler. If they double block, then the Sneaking Guide trades for the Survivor. We don't really want that. So I think I'm going to send the Night Runner unblockable and the Electromancer and the Night Runner, but I'm not going to send the Survivor. Because if they double block the Survivor with Chandler and Sneaking Guide, I'm pretty unhappy, right? I'll gladly trade the Electromancer here for the Goma Vanguard or the Chandler, but I don't want to trade the Survivor for the Sneaking Guide. So that's why I didn't send it. If we hit a land, we'll play Champion. If not, we'll play Goma Vanguard. Better to use all our mana. I know the Vanguard makes something unable to block, but we have a removal spell in hand. I'd rather just put out a bigger creature, and really I'd rather just use all my mana. No, this is the first draft. We're 4-2. I mean, it's not the first draft. This is the off-stream draft. This is draft number 0. There's going to be 3 best of 1s after this. This is, yeah, officially draft 0. This is my drafted this morning while watching the news and drinking coffee draft. Ari, you're so chatty. You wanna run this draft stream? Go ahead, but you're gonna have to, talk to people and tell them why you're doing what you're doing, and I'm not sure that meow is gonna cut it. Ari is like the chattiest cat in history. Like, one of my favorite things in the world is, like, I'll be like, Ari, how's it going? And then she'll be like, meow. And I'm just like, that's good. That makes sense. I love talking to her. I'm weird. What's up, B-Man with a gun? Well, she was just on my lap. I had her on screen, I think if you scroll back in the tape. But she just ran out of the room now. I've got the door open today because Rach is not here. So if she does come back in the room, I will make sure that she's featured on stream. But I'm not going to go hunt her down and drag her in here. So if she does come back in, though, I'll make sure to put her up. All right, let's see. So let's assume for 2 they have like a removal. Do we win the game? If we spellcraft and they kill something in response, well, what can they really have? There's not much cheap removal that's instant in this format. Like, Royal Eruption's a sorcery. Feed the Swarm's a sorcery. You know, I don't actually think there's anything they can have that's 2, except Subtle Strike. And that's only going to kill the 1/1. So then they would still die. So normally I would play around like a 2-mana removal spell because I could dump 2 creatures out, which is obviously a good turn and I'm not going to die next turn. But I don't actually think there's anything they could really have. I mean, I have 4 cats. They're just all, I don't know what type they are. They're all like, you know, just, we adopted them from a shelter. They're not like purebreds or whatever. I mean, they're all pretty standard. Like, they're probably all domestic short hairs or whatever the common, like, kind of stray cat in America is. One of them's black and white. Looks like an Oreo. We named that one Reptar. 2 of them I call the twins, Ariel and Lyra. We named off after the Dominaria cards. They look pretty identical and fairly boring. They're awesome cats, but they're pretty standard cat looking. And then Pickles is a little bit different. Yeah, they're vanilla cats. Ariel and Lyra are. Reptar and Pickles definitely have looks to them, but Ariel and Lyra are very vanilla looking cats. They're just like very standard, like I think it's called mackerel tabbies or whatever. They're just like a very standard kind of looking cat. They're not standard personality wise anyway though. I mean Ari, like I said, she'll chat nonstop. She's the most meowiest cat I've ever had in my entire life. Do you not allocate your mastery orbs? I don't even know what that means. Commander cats. No, well, Ariel and Lyra can be commanders, right? They're legendary creatures. I don't know. What power and toughness would they have in text? They're pretty small. I mean, cats are not normally like 1/1s, right? Sometimes they're 2/1s. Cats aren't very big usually in Magic. And they're all pretty small cats, so... They're probably mostly 1/1s. Like, Ariel and Lyra are 1/1s. Like, Reptar and Pickles might be like 2/2s. They're a little bigger. I don't know. This draft, I mean, Gruul Party isn't really an archetype, but I'm almost mono-red, and I just had some good green cards, like Balaget and Tarragon, Tajuri Paragon, whatever that thing's called, and a Rabid Bite and stuff. So I wouldn't say I necessarily ever chose to play Gruul Party. It's more like I was just heavy red and just had a few good green cards to play with it. Oh, my cats can definitely solo Grizzly Bear. No problem. Waste the mana, but still think I want to put this one out. If I put out like the Bug Catcher next turn, I play the Sorcerer. I guess that way I preserve a ping with the Electromancer, which is kind of nice. But I already have 2 pings if the Sorcerer lives. This is actually draft 0, 5 and 2 in games. We're gonna get into the first draft of the day as soon as this draft is over. Thanks, Michael McGrath. Appreciate the subscription. Hey, you're welcome. I'm just happy Zendikar was so awesome that I didn't get bored of it. Like, towards the end of the last set, M21, I took like 3 weeks off because I was just super bored of drafting M21. But Zendikar, I'm still loving. This format is just great. Hi, Professor Dumbledore. Good to see you. Alright, I'm going to grab the Sorcerer. I don't want to miss the land drop. I don't think we really need Accelerant at this point, but we can use our mana, so I'm going to put the Florahedron in play. And then there's no real reason to hold Sneaking Guide. I'm not going to block if they attack, because I might kill their Sneaking Guide for free with a Sorcerer ping, but I'll still get mine in play. Hey, cats, stop hissing at each other. No fighting. Here's Pickles. She's around. She's probably the biggest of them. She doesn't really love to, like, just sit in my arms. She loves pets, but But this is Pickles. Pickles! Say hi to the stream. Okay, go back to fighting with your sisters. So now let's see. I can Bugcatcher Electromancer, but I can't use the mana, or I can Sorcerer. That's up to a 2/2, so I'm going to have to play 2 things to ping it out, but I might be able to do that for free. Like, I might go Electromancer and make some mana and play Synchronized Spellcraft or something cheap. Anyway, a 3/3 blocks a 2/2, and it's not like putting out Ardent Electromancer and Bugcatcher is more effective, so... Pickles is great. Alright, so we can play everything, right? We play a warrior, doesn't really matter that or the Bugcatcher, then the Electromancer adds 2, then we can play the other warrior. La Pepinisa seems to have a lot of removal, but that's okay, I have a lot of creatures. None of them are of particular importance. Alright, first we'll just attack, make their creature unable to block. No reason to Spellcraft since their only creature can't block anyway. If they go for some kind of a trick to blow me out and prevent this, then we have Spellcraft as like a backup plan. So there we go. Not that that's scary, but no reason to let that block. We're way ahead, obviously. This is going to burn them to 14, and then they're going to take 8 down to 6. Meanwhile, they can attack me back for 2 if they want. Thank you, Privy B. Appreciate the subscription. I'm glad I'm privy to your support. This is draft 0. There will be 3 best-of-1 drafts today after this. Should be pretty soon, although it looks like we're going to get that one more game. We're 5-2, so when we lose, we start the next draft, or 2 wins. But this game's looking good, so we'll probably get that 6-2 game for 7 wins. I mean, they could still win, but it would be tough. Alright, so we do not have a Rogue out, so we want to play the Night Runner for 1 more damage. And then, since the Teeter Peak Ambusher can only bounce with something but can't kill it, we probably want to let that block unless we have lethal. But it's pretty close, so we probably need to count. Because the Bugcatcher is going to be a 4/2 trample. Well, it's clearly not lethal, because they could just block the other 2. So, yeah, so we're clearly not going to make the Ambusher unable to block. And then of the Skulker and the Sneaking Guide, which one do we want to let block? So the Ambusher is going to be allowed to block, because if it bounces with the Vanguard, we have the Vanguard to make something not block on the following turn. And otherwise, it's just chump blocking. It can't trade with the other 2 creatures. So you definitely want to play the Night Runner first, because it adds a Rogue to the board, it adds a power to the Bugcatcher. You definitely want to attack with all 3. The only question is which of the Skulker or the Sneaking Guide do we want to let block, and it's not much of a difference, they're just both 2/2s. The Death Touch doesn't matter, because 2 power kills either of my creatures. I think the Skulker's Death Touch, though, could kill like the Night Runner next turn, so I think I'd rather the Skulker block than the Sneaking Guide. I'd rather the Skulker leave play, because next turn, for example, the Sneaking Guide can't stop the Night Runner. Neither can the Skulker right now, because the Sneaking Guide's going to die if I let it block. But maybe they draw Rogue, right? So it's just a question. It would have definitely been wrong to make the Ambusher unable to block. But between the 2 2/2s, it's not much of a difference. But, you know, you still have to ask the question. Like, I think ultimately it's better to kill the Skulker, so that's the one we let block, because Sneaking Guide isn't going to have Death Touch, and I'm not worried about its offensive ability, since the life totals are 12-1. Whereas, if they play another Rogue, then this 2/2 can trade up with, like, a 2/3. Hey, you're welcome, Rom. I'm glad that my content inspires you. So, yeah, they're just dead. Happy Tuesday, Scoopy. All right, last game of this off-stream draft. We're 6-2, so win or lose, this is the last game of this draft. Thanks, JPG Silva. Let's see if we can get 7 wins. Magic players do love to complain, but you could probably just update that to humans love to complain, Ruth. Like, I'm not disagreeing. Magic players definitely love to complain, but I know some non-Magic players, and they like complaining too. I think it's really just humans love to complain. That's a good one, Miserloo. That's a good one. Dude, I know you're kidding, but LSV is the kind of person that could, like, top 8 3 Pro Tours in a row and then complain about not top 8ing the 4th. That's not even a hypothetical. That just happened. LSV's puns do make me complain quite a bit. Yeah, not that many, Joshan. I've been playing Magic since I was, like, 10 years old, so... I mean, obviously, like, my parents and stuff, but the vast majority of my friends at this point play Magic. Name 5 non-Magic players. Well, I mean, I've got, like, my sister, and my mom and dad, so that's 3. It's gonna get tough after that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm somewhat friendly with some of the poker regulars. I mean, not, like, close friends or anything, but no, I mean, really, I don't, like, you know, we're adults. Like, you know, your friends are, like, the people you have stuff in common with that you see regularly and do stuff with, so... Like I said, at this point, pretty much everyone that I'm, like, actively friends with is a Magic player. I have other people, like, who I know, like... Alright, so what are we going to do now? Electromancer, and then we don't use the mana, or Paragon. Neither is a particularly exciting option. I mean, the Paragon has Kicker, and it's the same size. So the only reason to play the Paragon over the Electromancer is because the Electromancer might effectively be cheaper later. But I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. And even if it is, I don't think it matters. I'd rather have the optionality to kick the Paragon. I mean, next turn I might go Electromancer Paragon, but if I draw, like, anything else to do, I can just do that, and then I can kick Paragon to have another creature, to find another creature. Yeah, I tried to teach my sister when we were kids, but she didn't really, like, take to it. I just don't feel like I'm going to swarm them to death here, because I don't have a lot of ammo. So I think I'd want to kick that Paragon next turn. So for now, we might as well just attack and then play another Electromancer. This is a pretty unexciting draw here. I mean, look, we're on the play. It's not like we're behind. Hopefully the Paragon will hit a nice creature. I mean, this is obviously a winnable game if we don't flood out. But not nearly as great as playing 4 things on turn 4 like we did 2 games ago. Alright, you want to say hi to the stream? They asked about you. You're named after a Magic card, and this is a Magic stream. Alright, Ari. This is Ariel. She's the chatty cat. Whenever you hear me yowling, it's almost always her. She's just non-stop chats. Right, girly? Yeah, I know. I get it. How's your day going, Ari? Yeah, fair enough. So a 3-2 for a 4-3, that's a pretty good trade. I guess if we take it and swing back, that might be a 2-3 next turn. They're red-white. They probably have more warriors. We'll take this trade. So Paragon's going to pump the Bug Catcher, so we definitely want to play that pre-combat. We've got exactly 5 to play it with Kicker. We'll see what we get. Huh? We can't take it all. Bunch of options. I mean, it's really close because we have all the lands we need. So Fisher Wizard's like a 2-1 draw card because we have a Forest to discard. Vanguard, pretty good, makes something unable to block, and the Bug Catcher's big. Like, not huge, but I think I want the Fisher Wizard. It's basically a 2-1 draw card. I mean, we have a 3-drop, so taking a 2-mana card lets us double spell next turn. And we have the Forest to discard that we don't care about at all. Thank you, Endor Raziel. I probably mispronounced your name, but I do appreciate your support. Wow, and you subscribed for 5 months in advance? Well, thank you. That's really generous. I really appreciate the support. It's pretty cool that Twitch allows that now. I think that's a relatively new feature. And like I said, thank you. That's awesome. So we don't have any good blocks except chump blocks. So this is actually kind of rough. I mean, we're only 1 point short of killing them. I wish I took more aggressive lines. I mean, I didn't expect a 5/4 trample haste. So if I chump, I take 4, 7. So I go to 8. So I won't die to the flyer next turn. If I take 9, I'm at 6. I still won't die to the flyer next turn. So I think I should take it. I don't think I have many ways to deal an extra damage, but I have a few. If I draw Rockslide Sorcerer, we win. If I draw Royal Eruption, we win. If I draw Kazul's Fury, we win. If I draw Synchronized Spellcraft, we win. But then if not, they have to do more than just play a land to kill us, because we're going to 6, and the Fledgling is going to be a 5/5. And we have 2 cracks at most of those outs because of the Fisher Wizard. Not the Rockslide Sorcerer or the Spellcraft, because we don't have that much mana, but most of them. Alright, just discard the land. 1 card off. If we drew that 1 card sooner, we won. But we didn't, so now we have to figure out what we want to do. We can't just have 4 toughness on tap, because then we lose to a land, because this thing has trample. So we probably have to hold back at least 1 creature. I might honestly hold them both back, because we drew the Spellcraft. So even if they, like, play a blocker, I can probably lethal them next turn, rather than lose to, like, a removal spell. Because if I attack with one of these and play Champion, if they kill Champion, I'm dead to a removal spell. I guess if I have to triple block, it's pretty bad for me. But I guess it's better than being dead. Man, where was that Spellcraft 1 card sooner? Hey, BTX. Glad to hear it. I'm loving Zendikar. Yeah, maybe I should have played the land. Well, they killed 2 creatures, so we were dead. Boo. 2 creatures plus the land. Nice win by the opponent. Needed that Spellcraft 1 card sooner. Alright, 6 and 3. Not bad. Let's get into the first draft of the day. Well, yeah, I wasn't playing around that. I mean, I was playing around 1 removal. It still wasn't great for me, because if they had a land to grow the Fledgling to the 5/5 and a removal, I wasn't dead, but they could force me to block, and then I wouldn't be able to attack back for lethal. But if they didn't have the land, then I could Spellcraft the Fledgling. And, like, if they didn't have the removal, I should just Spellcraft their blocker, even if they played 2 things, and then attack for lethal. So I think my play was right, but I'm not sure. If I had played more offensively, I would have won that game, but I don't think that was right either. I couldn't know I was going to draw all spells and that they were going to manage to deal 15 in 2 turns like that. I mean, a 5/4 haste trample was kind of unexpected. So, I don't know. Yeah, I've been on a pretty bad streak the past week. I entered Mythic like at 30th or something, and I've just been like getting beat up this week. If I'd had the Spellcraft one sooner, they were just dead. I had the ability to attack them from 7 for 6 damage on the last turn, but I mean 6 isn't 7, as we know in this stream. 1 does not equal 0. Yeah, also the trample part mattered. If it was the 5/4 haste, the non-trample, the Minotaur, I could have chump blocked it. Then I would have chump blocked with the on-tap 3/2, hit them back for 3 to 4, and played a couple more blockers, and I wouldn't have died. Alright, let's get into the first fresh draft of the day. Thank you. I cannot possibly pronounce this name, but I really do appreciate your support. Chowkset. Wow, so, okay, this pack is really good. We have 2 potential choices, nothing else. There's a Mythic that's pretty powerful, but it costs 6. There's a Mythic that looks like an uncommon, but it's actually a Mythic. It only costs 4. I mean, it's really powerful. It's less powerful than Morag here, but it is 2 mana less. So there's basically 2 Mythics in this pack, Morag and Roost of Drakes, the old double Mythic pack. I think Drake's is just better. Morag is cool, but it's 6 mana and it dies to removal. Roost is really, like, impossible to interact with, because it's an enchantment. They have to have, like, Feed the Swarm, and even then they get blatantly 2 for 1. The reason for Roost, it's not because it's more powerful for even the casting cost, it's that it's harder to interact with. Like, Morag does die to, Deadly Alliance and a few other cards. Roost basically never dies. I think it's close in power level for the casting cost. The reason I think it's not necessarily that close is just because Roost is really hard to interact with, and when you're deciding between broken cards, you want the one that's harder to answer. So now there's another close pick, Spoils and Rabid Bite. Blue-green is probably the best Roost deck, though you can certainly make it work in any deck, and Spoils is super splashable. I think Spoils is enough better than Rabid Bite that it's the right choice. If we go green-blue, we'll just play a Plains and splash this, and we'll be super happy. If we go blue-white, Spoils is a really good card. So this looks like a pretty easy pack beast. Should be better than Infiltrator in blue-white. We could still go blue anything, of course. And it helps us splash Spoils, too, and make it cost less. Alright, so we haven't seen any green. We haven't seen much white, but it seems like we're seeing blue, which is good. Take this 4th pick, Merfolk Falconer, Air Elemental with upside, and try and draft kicker cards. Easy Diviner here. I think I heard a knock on my door. I'll be back. Yeah, I just had a random delivery. Somebody sent Rachel a Christmas gift or something, I think. It was FedEx. Yeah, so 6-pick Royal Eruption, pack 1 should never happen. It's the best common in the set. Seagate Restoration is, like, so much more fancy than good, but it's still good. It's still a land spell modal. Draw 2 or 3 in the late game. I know a lot of people seem to hate on this card because it's a mythic rare and it's not broken. It's not even, like, first pickable. But it's still a split card that in the early game it's a land, in the late game it draws a couple of cards, which is a lot better than a land when you don't need lands anymore. But it's not just 7 mana divination. It's 7 mana divination or it's a land. You get to cut an island and play this like as a land, and then it's divination instead of drawing a land in the late game. We're doing best of 1, so Broken Wings offers us nothing. Even though I made good use of those Cleansing Wildfires in that LFM Streamer Showdown, that was red-green landfall. We're committed to blue, so I guess I'll just take Deliberate. I know, where are the kicker cards, right? I mean, we'll probably get them next pack. I mean, blue was clearly wide open this pack, so it's probably just a coincidence that there wasn't, Geyser Mages and Royal Mages and Bubble Snares and Into the Royals. Blue has a lot of kicker at common. So we don't know if we're blue-white or blue-red at this point. If we do go blue-red, though, it's probably going to be a wizard spells deck. I mean, these are almost all wizards and spells, and we're going to have to prioritize kicker cards. So we're not going to do like a blue-red party aggro. But if we do blue-white, then it will be a party aggro. So I want to grab that paired Tactician. Grab the healer for the same reason. I don't really feel like we're seeing red, but then we got a 6-pick Royal Eruption, so that's kind of mind-boggling. But, I mean, it does seem like we're seeing more of a blue-white party deck, so I'm going to grab Practice Tactics here. I don't like Ox in these decks, so Ambusher in case we go blue-red. Clearly, we're committed to blue, and we could play either red or white with it, or green or whatever if we want to, really. We didn't see any green, but we could still pair whatever with blue. Alright, well, the best card in this pack is obviously Verazol, and it would be quite good with Roost and a blue-green kicker. We saw, like, no green. No, I don't really like Allied Assault. We saw, like, no green last pack, so I'm not super inclined to take it, but, like, I mean, for blue, red, or white, I mean, what is our best option? Like, a Coom Warrior? Coom Warrior's good, and it can help us splash Royal Eruption. So I think this is basically a pick between a Coom and Verazol. If we play blue-white, we can still, a Coom is single red and it's a land, and, like, we have Pack Beast, so we could splash Royal. I don't know. Blue-green kicker can be really busted with something like Verazol, but it feels like green is being overdrafted. Like, we saw no green last pack. Robber's an okay rogue for a blue-white party, that's true. But a Coom, we already have a Royal we want to splash, so I think a Coom is the pick. Hey, sometimes you guess wrong and sometimes you guess right. You know what's good in blue-red spells? Magnetic Chandler. Alright, well, now I'm just going to cut the white cards. Because this card isn't really splashable, and we already have just as many, if not more, red cards. We can splash spoils if we figure out a way, but that's the only white card that's an actual loss. So now there's another spoils if we wanted to splash white, but I think we just take Royal Mage. Royal Mage should be quite good in our deck, right? It's kicker, and it works with all the spells and everything, and it's a wizard. It basically synergizes every way possible. Valakut Awakening is fine. It's kind of like a 3-mana Seagate Restoration. Draws like a card or two when you don't need lands, and it's a land otherwise. So if we do want to splash spoils, which I don't know if we do or don't, Takedown gives us a good ability to do that with a white land spell modal. If we don't take that, I mean, I guess we're just taking like Cleansing Wildfire, Anti-Cognition, which are not good for us. So I guess we take Takedown. Squid, if we need 2-drops, which we really don't. We have 4 2-drop creatures. So I guess I'll take Sure-Footed Infiltrator. This can be okay if we have a lot of spells. I don't think there's any way I'm going to play Lithoform Engine in this deck, but I also don't think there's any way I'm going to play 2 Teeter Peak Ambushers. I mean, Roost is definitely playable. We have 2 other kicker cards already, and it itself has kicker, and we draw a lot of cards. Roost at this point is not looking great, but even with just Royal Eruption and Royal Mage, I would still play it, and we have a whole nother pack to grab another couple kicker cards. Also, like, there's card drawing and stuff, so remember, we're not effectively a 40-card deck as far as our kicker count. We have a lot of card drawing. Like, Falconer's kicker, Scribe, but then also this draws cards if it hits, this draws cards if it dies, this draws cards, this draws cards, this finds cards, this draws cards. Yeah, I mean, we could have splashed Deadlies, but we already have a potential white splash if that's where if we want to splash. And the land spell modals are really good for splashes, because, if you didn't draw planes, you can play this as a land and still get use out of it. So, I mean, we're positioned to splash spoils and Kabira Takedown if we want to, just depending on if we end up short playables, or if we pick up a free fixer like the red-white duel, or if, we get another Pack Beast or 2 that helps. Yeah, this has been a weird draft. I agree. I don't know if we're going to play Lithoforming or not. I mean, this card is busted with landfall creatures, which we are not going to have any. It does search for any basic, right? Oh, no, you just draw cards and you can play anything. It doesn't search. So it helps a splash because you seize a lot of cards. Like if you sack 4 lands, you can draw 4 new cards, but it doesn't actually give you your play-ins. Oh, you had to pull up the rap video, huh? Wow, another spoils? Alright, I'm going to take that. Now I'm going to strongly consider splashing because spoils is a really good card. I know we saw that earlier. We tabled it, but I didn't expect to table it. Takedown also makes splashing pretty easy. We could play like 2 planes and Takedown and Pack Beast. So I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we're going to consider it. We could always splash red also. I mean, the Chandler's a good 2-drop. It's not a great splash, but I mean, Royal and Valakut Awakening and Akum Warrior, these are land spell modals and they're single red. I mean, obviously we're 100% committed to blue, and then we're going to play some combination of this white and red stuff. So Akiri Fearless Voyager is not going to be good off the splash, and we don't even have equipment. I think I'm just going to take Pack Beast here. Spikefill Hazard's maybe a little better than just the red-blue, but we already have 2 spoils. I might play white-blue splash red. I might play blue-red splash white. Either way, I think the Pack Beast is going to let us cast these pretty nicely. So it's not a good first pick, but it is a good card for a deck. I'm not really going to complain about that. So Bugcatcher is pretty aggro. Our deck is not aggro. The only nice thing about Bugcatcher is it's like a warrior, which we don't have a lot of, to lower the cost of the 2 spoils and stuff. Otherwise, what? Stampede? I mean, Stampede's not, like, good off the... as far as land spell modal off for the splash, because it's double white to cast. If we do blue-white splash red, then it's a reasonable card. I guess we don't know whether we're blue-white splash red or blue-red splash white. It really just depends on what we see this pack. So I guess Stampede makes the most sense. So Rockslide Sorcerer, that definitely sends me towards blue-red. Because we have a lot of spells, a lot of wizards. Like, this is a card that, like, you know, is just going to be very good, frankly. And another Royal Eruption. I'm sad it's in this pack. Shatterskull, Minotaur, and Umara Wizard are both good cards, too. But given the Roost, we definitely want to pick up the Royal. It's another kicker card, and it's, you know, just a really good, really flexible card. Also, like, there's overt synergy, like kicker cards with Roost of Drakes. There's also what I call, like, you know, more covert synergy, like Spoils of Adventure and Royal Eruption. Cheap removal goes really well with card drawing. Kill their creatures, you know, keep your life total high, and then play your card drawing for extra cards to win the game. So that's why, like, cheap removal that's efficient, like Royal Eruption, and card drawing have, like, a natural synergy. So this came together pretty nicely, this pack. We got a pretty good blue-red Wizards. We got 2 more Pack Beasts for the splash of 2 spoils and Takedown. So we'll play like 1 or 2 planes plus Takedown, and then we have all these Pack Beasts that can also make white. I think, and we, like I said, we see a lot of cards, so like we should find our splash mana. This deck's pretty good at that. This sacks to draw a card. I don't know if I'm going to play this or not, but it draws 2. This discards a card to look at 2. This draws 2. This draws, like, however many we want it to. These draw cards when they die. This draws cards when it hits. This scries. I don't think we're going to play Celebrant off the splash, but I also don't have any Clerics. So maybe we will. If we go with, like, 3... Like, if we go 2 planes and Takedown and 3 Pack Beasts, that's 6 white sources. Yeah, we could have, like, Kazu, Pack Beast. Like, we could end up going, like, Royal Chaser, Pack Beast, and then playing Spoils really cheap, right? Because, like, this is a wizard, so this will lower the cost by 2. And then this will also lower, like, they'll lower the cost by 2. So this will cost 2 mana, and then so if we have to make a white, it'll cost 3 or something. But I think this deck came together pretty nicely for a tough draft. I don't think it's, like, busted, but getting the Royal Chaser, the Chandler, 2 Royal Eruptions. I mean, it's missing some Into the Royals and Bubble Snares and stuff. I mean, we never really saw those cards. And it's weird, because blue seemed wide open, but I don't know what the deal with that is. Alright, so first thing I usually do is figure out how many lands I'm going to play. We got some card drawing, so a lot of cheap spells, but this would be like a 17-land deck. We also have 4s and a 5 and so on. But how many land spell modals do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 13, so probably like 14 lands, roughly speaking. So I'll do the colored sources later, but something like that, which means we'd have to cut 2 cards. Do we want to play this Nahiri's lithoforming? Probably not. We already have card drawing. So, let's see. What are our weak cards that are cuttable? Deliberate's always cuttable. It's not horrible if you have to play it, but it's always cuttable. Ambushers are worst 2-drop by far of the creatures. Celebrate off the splash is loose. Molten Blast isn't great. The 4-drops are really good. The 5-drop, these cards aren't getting cut. So we pretty much have to cut 2 of these 5 cards. So Celebrant would be my only cleric, so it would lower the cost of spoils by 1. And if we go with 2 planes and takedown, we actually have a lot of white sources. We have 3 more pack beasts, so that's 6 white sources. And then all these like tormenting voices and stuff. We see a lot of cards. I know the Celebrant looks weird, but I think it might be a good splash to lower the cost of the spoils. And also, like, we have a control deck, we have a lot of card drawing, we have a good late game. This deck kind of likes a 1/4 that gains life. I'm not saying the Celebrant can't be cut. I mean, I'd put it right in the cuttables. But it also could go in. Like, any 2 of these 5, I think, are cuttable. Deliberate's not great, that's true. But it does ping with the Sorcerer, and it does just help us, like, find our splash mana and stuff. I mean, Tormenting Voice is better, and it's similar, so I could definitely see cutting the Deliberate. I actually didn't get that much removal, so I think we want the Molten Blast probably the most. I think, like, we have enough 2-drops with 3 pack beasts. I think I'm going to cut 1 Ambusher and Deliberate. Because we're still playing 1 Ambusher. I think I'm going to try the Celebrant. Because, again, we have 6 white sources with 2 planes, takedown, and 3 pack beasts. But then also, it's not really 6 and 40. Because we have all these cards, like 2 Tormenting Voices, and Valakut Awakening, and, you know, Seagate Restoration, Falconer. We have a lot of ways to just, like, dig through our deck. So, kind of think this makes more sense. Oh, we have Stampede too. Yeah, I could play that. I forgot I had Stampede, actually. Again, that's less good off the splash because it's double white, but it still comes into play tap planes. We could definitely stick it in the deck. Yeah, I mean, we could cast it off Pack Beast. You know, we might have to pay 7, but if the game's ever stalemated, that's doable. Yeah, I don't think we're like a creature deck. Like, I don't think we need the Stampede. We're not going to have that many creatures out to pump. It's just not really offering our deck much. My Night Warrior agrees, right, Ariel? Yeah, I just don't think we need Engine. Like, I know that we have a lot of cheap cards, but we also just have, like, a lot of card drawing and stuff. I just don't think, like, this is a deck that's going to use Engine well. Meow. Team Cats for life. Remember, I'm not anti-dog, but I'm clear about my position. I'm on Team Cat. Do you approve, Ari? Team Cats? Alright, I'll pull her up here again. I don't know if she likes it. I'm not going to hunt her down if she runs away, but she's lurking by my feet right now. So I'll pull her up. Say hi to the stream, Ari. They want to see you. You're the star. You're named after a Dominaria card because we adopted you on the day of the Dominaria pre-release. And then coincidentally, Dominaria went on to be the best draft set of like the past 5 years. So you're a draft kitty. Wrong team, Max Power. You're a draft kitty. You're a Dominaria cat. No blue, but we have the Pack Beast. I don't know. You know I don't mulligan stuff like this. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for supporting my stream and my content, Hans der Meister. I really appreciate it. Alright, hopefully this Pack Beast lives. I don't mind filtering a blue. My blue cards are somewhat cheap. I can then play the Royal Chaser and then probably the spoils. Exactly as we drew it up. Ugh. Now we have to top deck an island. Or we can't cast literally anything. I'm not going to play the mountain because I'm going to probably discard it to the Chandler. Well, I'll play it next turn now. Yeah. Oh, that's a big one. I forgot to do the lands at the end. I'm not saying the mana's off. I don't remember what colors my land spell modals were and stuff. And we want a pretty even amount of red and blue. I just realized though that I did forget to actually do the lands. Molten Blast what? Two damage to their 8/8? Huh, sure, yeah, throwing a pebble at a Shia. Not my idea of a good time. Alright, so I think I can play Royal Chaser and Spoils, right? Royal Chaser lowers it by 1, so effectively by 2, so I can get the Royal Chaser out for free. I'm just going to do it now, because if they kill the Royal Chaser in response to me activating it, the Spoils will go up a mana, and then they can kind of, like, fizzle my turn, and I'm already behind, so I want to make sure this resolves. Thank you, Awakened. Appreciate that subscription. Yeah, this isn't going well, obviously. I don't know if we're completely dead. It's looking bad. So if we go, what? Rock Slide, Sorcerer, and then, like, we can still Royal Eruption the Dead Worm, so that looks decent. Actually, we could also play the Wind Robber. I mean, they're on 5 cards in the yard, though. I'm hoping not to chump with the Wind Robber until they had 8, so I could buy a turn that way. Let me check Cardboard Live. It should be working. If it's not, I don't know why. Not sure what to do. Yeah, I guess I just have to dump my stuff out and chump with the Wind Robber earlier, even though it won't draw a card. I have plenty of card drawing in my hand. So let's go... Yep, that's right. And then we can play this, kill the Dreadworm, because we get the Sorcerer Ping. And we've got the Wind Robber, so we're not chumping a Shia with Sorcerer yet. If only Seagate was an island, how would it have helped us? I don't know. Yuck. More yuck. Yeah, I thought we were still in this game. Like, I could chump a Shia, and these all draw cards. Like, I mean, look, it was going to be a tough game, but I thought we were still in it. I don't think we can win now. I don't think I can answer the 6/5 trample and keep chumping a Shia. But before this turn, I actually did think I was in it. So let's see. Do I have any outs? Not really. No, literally none, I don't think. I guess. Something like this. I don't know. I don't think I have outs. But I know these two cards aren't helping me. And neither are those. Yeah, I should have Molten Blasted the Ashaya. That was a pretty serious punt. I do acknowledge my misplays on this stream. Oh, I forgot to check the lands again. Might be like one more island, might not. I mean, I'm not saying I got mana screwed because I didn't set the lands, just I didn't even check the 6 mountains, 6 islands. Pretty sure I want pretty even between red and blue, but I still need to check my land spell modals and stuff like that. And it might be like, oh no, it's not going to be more blue because I have 2 Tormenting Voices, but I still do need to check my land spell modals and stuff, so. Let's take a quick look at the lands, see if it's 6/6 or 7/5 or what. Alright, so we have 1, 2 red land spell modals and 1 blue. So we're currently on 8 red and 7 blue, not counting the pack beast and stuff. And yeah, we have about the same number of red and blue cards, but we have 2 Tormenting Voices and a Valakut Awakening, so we want 1 more red. So the mana's right. Zendikar is a fantastic draft format. I think it's the best since Dominaria. No offense, Ariel. I still think Dominaria is better, so you're okay. Mr. Hall of Famer. Jeez. I guess I'm officially old now. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying my favorites, you know? It's not like there's an actual numerical, like, you know, mathematical evaluation here. I mean, I do really like Zendikar, and I do really like Dominaria. They're both very good limited formats. Thank you, Snark44. Appreciate the subscription. Not a huge fan of Eldraine. Adventure was fine. I didn't dislike Eldraine, but it was fine. Nothing special. Probably my next favorite of my next favorite of last year was probably Theros Beyond Death. It was a good year for limited though. It might have been a bad year for standard, but it was a good year for limited. Yeah, that's true. I might have liked Eldraine a lot more if there weren't bot drafts. That's a good point. Next time it comes on with humans, we'll do some premieres and try and judge it a little fairer. Alright, so looks like we can curve out and play the takedown on turn 3 because we can't really lower the cost of Rockslide Sorcerer with Royal Chaser, so we have 1 drop, 2 drop, 4 drop, 5 drop. So that means we can put a land in play on turn 3. You're not an idiot, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a coincidence we lost to an absolutely giant creature. I mean, yeah, we don't have hard removal, but Royal Eruption kills up to a 5/5, and we have Takedown, and we have Sorcerer, and we can even chump while we're drawing extra cards and stuff. Like, it's not like we expect to lose to 10/10s every game. Like, decks don't generally have that many 10/10s. Alright, so this turn, do I want to do anything? Not really. I don't think there's much productive to do. I'd kill the Low Mage's Familiar if I could, but I don't want to use both spells on it, so. Next turn, we have access to Sorcerer, and then after that, we can hopefully burn a bunch of things. Pretty nice card. Just definitely going to take this turn off. If they don't have an answer for the Sorcerer, we get all those extra pings. We can even Eruption with Kicker pretty easily. We have 2 Wizards out, a 3rd in hand. I'm not saying that's all going to come together like that, but we'll have to see what they do this turn. It's not like we're going to die. No, 3 drafts today. This is the first of 3. Just the usual programming. We're going to do 3 best-of-1 drafts today, regardless of how long or short they are. And this is the first of 3. We're splashing white because we have 2 Spoils of Adventure. It's a pretty good card for a red-blue wizard spells deck. Yeah, we got 2 copies of Spoils, too. I'm also splashing 1 Core Celebrant, but that's obviously not why I'm splashing white. It's for the 2 Spoils. And I got 3 Pack Beasts, so I felt like I could get away with a good amount there. Kind of waffled between blue-red Wizards and blue-white Party for this draft, so in the end we settled on a bunch of Pack Beasts as Wizards and Fixers, and then 2 Spoils and Takedown as a white splash. think one colorless cycling is good. It was a problem with Fox, and it was a problem with Snare Tactician and with Zenith Flare and all that. But I think in a set, for example, without cycling payoffs, like Frostfell Ambush would just be a cool card. Or like Startling Development. These are just cool Magic cards. I think they're taking the blame for the cycling payoff cards being too good. Alright, so let's see. Now we get all that extra pinging. We have 3 pings in our hand with Sorcerer. Order of business number 1 is kill Falconer. Order of business number 2 is kill Familiar. Is there any way we can kill both this turn? Maybe. Royal kills 1 all by itself, but then we'd have to play Molten Blast Royal and Pack Beast. Is that doable? 2 for Pack Beast, 1 for Molten Blast, and we're 1 mana short, right? We can't spread this around. Nah, just the next instant. So I think we're 1 mana short. In that case, let's kill Falconer. I think then I'd rather do it with Pack Beast and Molten Blast. So we certainly have enough mana to do that. So 1 damage, yeah. And then we can Molten Blast. And then 1 more damage. And we can just poke for 1 in the air. No reason to do anything on the ground. Not the worst. We have 3 wizards if you count the Pack Beast, and it does count. But you can't spread the extra mana around. So we needed 2 for Pack Beast, 1 for Molten, and 2 for Royal. And we only had 4 lands. So we couldn't cast all 3. Alright, so now looks like a pretty easy. We'll Royal the Low Mage's Familiar and play Celebrant. Hit in the air. No real decisions here, I don't think. Oops. I know we could be kicking them and stuff and potentially trying to burn the opponent out, but Low Mages, they're probably 1 land away from Field Research, Cunning Geyser Mage, or Royal Mage. There's 3 different 6-mana kicker cards in this format, and given they're sitting on 3 cards in hand, 4 land and a Low Mage's Familiar, I've got to assume they're holding some of those cards, right? They're probably holding some copies of either Cunning Geyser Mage, Royal Mage, or Field Research. So I really want to take out that Low Mage's Familiar, so now that they're 2 lands away from those good kicker spells instead of 1. No, that's not how Royal Chaser works. It lowers the next instant or sorcery by X. You can't spread that around, Shadow Scythe. So no matter what, I'd have to pay 1 for Molten Blast, and then 2 for Royal and 2 for Pack Beast, which is 5, and I only have 4. Okay, so we don't have double blue. We can kick the Royal Eruption. It's not very exciting. I mean, we can deal 5 to the Sentinel and ping them, which we probably want to do. Or we can deal 3 to it and then attack with Royal Chaser, same amount of damage. Can I get in any more ground attacks? I mean, we're 1 land away from the Falconer, even if it's not an island, because of the Pack Beast. Can't possibly send the Pack Beast into these 1/3s. The Sorcerer's just going to bounce with the Riptide. If I kill the Riptide with the Royal Eruption, if they want to kill the Sorcerer, they would have to put the Sentinel on it, but I don't want to lose the Sorcerer. So, yeah, I think we just kill the Flyer and keep poking them in the air. I know this is not exciting, but it's not like they're going to be holding like a 5-mana 5/5. They would have played that last turn with the Low Mages. So this seems to me like we just kill the Skyclave Sentinel, keep poking them in the air. Definitely got to play the land, because if I draw plains or a mountain, I can play my 4/4 Flyer. No, just instants and sorceries. This doesn't lower the cost of creatures. It lowers the next instant or sorcery by the number of wizards you have. Fair enough. I don't see any reason to chump yet. We have plenty of life. They're not an aggro deck. I Guess that's my punishment for playing the plains. What do I want to do now? Kind of want a Tormenting Voice, but I also don't want to throw away this 4/4 flyer. I mean, I don't have to play any of those this turn. I can hit for 2 in the air and pass the turn. I had to play the Plains, because if I drew a Plains or Mountain this turn, I could play Falconer using Pack Beast. Oh yeah, we could sack the Rogue, you're right. Alright, so let's attack with the Flyers, and then sack the Rogue for a card, because it's just a 1/1, and we don't want to discard Falconer, and we don't want to do nothing. And if we draw a land, we can play Falconer, or we can discard to Tormenting Voice. But I think it's clearly better just to get a 4/4 flyer out. They're 2 lands away from kicking, so, like, they shouldn't really be able to interact profitably with a 4/4 flyer. If they draw a land, they can, like, Cunning Geyser Mage it, but I'll just play it again. So, I think it's pretty clear we wanted to play Falconer last turn. I mean, we did give up one of our 1/1s that was poking them to do that, but it was a good play. As usual, you're right, chat. Alright, we can't lose our Pack Beast because that's our second blue, so this block's pretty automatic. So now, if we play Falconer, we can ping them. There's no way to do a better ping on the ground. We could play Diviner and Tormenting Voice. We'd get 2 pings. We'd give up the Falconer, but the Diviner's only 1 smaller, and then we get a free kill on the Geyser Mage with double ping, so that's tempting. Probably better to just put the 4/4 back out, though. I don't think this game's about to end or anything. No need to be in a hurry. We're going to get that double ping whenever, right? And the next land we draw, we can discard to the Tormenting Voice. So now they have a 4/5 flyer. Really don't want to throw away the Falconer. Do I just take the 5? It's that or chump with Celebrant. I can go to 2. I mean, the Celebrant's going to gain me at least 1 life back. And I have the same number of creatures as them, if not more. I guess I go to 2. Because all my creatures are important. Oh no, I can chump with the Pack Beast now if I want to. I don't need the filtering anymore, so maybe we'll do that. Yeah, I don't think the 2/1 is that valuable now. Let's chump with the Pack Beast. But if I'm going to do that, do I put the Sorcerer on it? No, because they might be just about out of kicker. And I can attack with the 4/4, and if they block, then I can ping it out. So I don't think I want to double block. I think I'll just chump with the Pack Beast here. And yeah, looks like a pretty easy attack with the Falconer now. If they block, I trade up for a 4/5. If they take it, I have another flying blocker or 2 anyway. And I'm not holding any kicker cards at the moment. If they block post-combat, I'll use the Royal Chaser to lower the cost of the Tormenting Voice, just in case. But if they take it, I want to have the Royal Chaser up, I think, as a chump blocker for the 4/5. Where'd the 4/5 with 4 damage on it go? It moved. Okay, and next turn I can play Diviner and Pack Beast and kill a 2/2, so this turn let's just play Infiltrator. Pretty clear choice, I think. We can double ping the 3/2 with these 2 wizards next turn. This is a tight game. Pack Beasts are also rogues, so they can get that Infiltrator through, so that's kind of nice. So I think I just block like that, right? I mean, I lose to Might of Marasa, but I have no reason to put that card in their hand specifically. Like, they could have it. They could have, I mean, you know, but there's no reason to put it in their hand. I could block the Infiltrator on the Geyser Mage, but that's my only ping out next turn. So I think this has to be the block. Because I'm getting a free kill on the Geyser Mage right now. With the Sorcerer and 2 Wizards. So after I gain 2, I'm going to be at 7. Let's see if I can afford to hit with the Infiltrator and draw a card. So, well, that's even better. And I want to get the 4/4 out, so I don't need to draw a card that bad. This is a tight game right now. I was going to play Diviner and Pack Beast, double ping the Geyser Mage, and then I was going to figure out whether I could afford to tap the Pack Beast to make the Infiltrator unblockable. But now I'd rather just play Diviner and Chandler, because that's going to give me much better blocks. And it's still 2 wizards. I still get the double ping. Yeah, I didn't think they had Might. They probably would have sent more things. I mean, a 1-1 connecting doesn't make Might lethal, you know, so they might not send those to try not to telegraph it. But yeah, they'd probably send the Risen Riptide, like you said. Alice from Malo. You're probably right. Obviously, there's no guarantees. They could not because they think it's better to, you know, not tip it off or something. But you are right, they would probably do that. No, I thought about the Royal Chaser. I know I didn't cover it, but basically I'm going to win this game through card advantage now, so I didn't even want to send the 1-2. I felt like I could use it back as a blocker. Because if they have a kicker card, they have a 5-5, a 6-5, and a 3-3 to attack me with. And I have Diviner draws a card when it dies, Infiltrator draws cards when it hits, and Chandler can draw cards if I discard lands to it. Most of those creatures are going to end up dying in this combat, but I didn't want to poke them for 1 with the Royal Chaser, because I'm not winning as an aggro deck now. I know I was an aggro deck this whole game, but now we're switching gears. We have a bunch of ways to generate card advantage, and they've played out their whole hand, so we're not trying to win through aggression anymore. Yeah, I mean, I know now they're representing Might. I mean, they didn't have Might last turn. I mean, we don't know what they drew this turn. Obviously, we know they didn't have Might last turn because they could have literally lethaled me. It doesn't have to be Might. It could just be any kicker card. They don't care about the 1-3s. But we'll try not to die to Might. But it's going to be tough because this has Trample, remember. But let's see what our blocks can look like. So, we can put our smallest creature on the Risen Riptide. They have no way to give that Trample. So that's just kind of like a good, safe, free block. And then, let's say we make a double block on the Stomper. Something like that is pretty effective. And then, how much? 7. So if they +5/+5 it, that's 11. So 4 is getting through. And then, yeah, and then 1-4 on 3-3, and 3-2 on 1-3, and 3-3 on 1-3. This looks pretty good, actually. If they have Might, they blow me out here, but then I eat all the small creatures. If they have Into the Royal, I mean, I don't die or anything. Like, I think this is about the best I can do. This looks pretty good. Looks pretty solid to me. I didn't super wanted to lose both card drawing things, but it's better than being dead. And, I mean, the blocks were going to be pretty poor if I made any other blocks against Might, right? Alright, so now I'm effectively at 4 life, because I'm going to gain 1. The question is, can I attack? I want to. I can have the 1-4 on the Stomper, which means I'll take 2 back down to 2, so then I just have to block the Sproutling. So I think the answer is yes. I think I can send with the 2-6. I can send for 6 and ping them down to 4, and then they can't attack with everything or they'll die. This is super tight. I mean, they're probably out of kicker cards, but we don't know what that last card is or what the top of their deck is. But I'm happy to chump the Stomper with the Celebrant. This gives us plenty of ways to win. If they don't have a kicker card, we're in good shape. If they do, then are we dead? 2, 5. Yeah, then we're dead, but back to aggro because they made us lose our whatchamacallits. Oh, and they top deck Reclaim off the Visionary. Yuck. But I don't think we win by, like, trying to block all of these. I mean, we're chump blocking 5/5s, and we're running out of creatures. I think I played this game correctly. I mean, remember, we played through Might last turn. We needed them to not have another card this turn. Ari doesn't like it. She's meowing nonstop now. I don't like it either, girl. That was a good game. That was a fun game of Magic. I don't know. I'm not sure if I punted or not. I mean, we fought through a lot. I could have tried to make different blocks so the Chandler lives. Could I have switched Chandler in a 3-3 maybe? No, because then I lose both even without them playing the Might there. So then they just play the Might on whatever the Chandler blocks. So that doesn't really work. Because I blocked the 6-5 with a 4-4 to 2-3. If I block it with if I block it with a 3-3 to 2-3, then they're already killing both, and then they can just use the Might on whatever the Chandler blocks. So that's just better for them. Not sure. I mean, it was pretty tough to not die to Might and have decent blocks when I'm at 7 and they're attacking with 5 creatures, including a 6-5 trample. I mean, on the last turn, I don't think I want to not be aggressive, because if they have the kicker card, like, if I don't attack with the sorcerer or something, I just end up, like, trading 2 creatures for the Stomper, chump blocking the Risen Riptide, and then I have, like, no offense, nothing going. I could grossly out-top deck them, but if they don't have another kicker card, I win, basically, the way I played it. And if they have another kicker card, then they eat my resources, plus they have whatever they played. And if it's, like, a Field Research or a Geyser Mage or a Royal Mage, then they're going to have a bunch more anyway to win with. So, like, I mean, if I knew they were going to have exactly Reclaim the Waste, a kicker card that's basically just lands, then maybe I would make the defensive play. But a big part of why I made the offensive play was because if I play to not lose to a kicker card, I lose to the card anyway. Because if it's Cunning Geyser Mage, my blocks are horrible and or they lethal me. If it's Royal Mage or Field Research, then they have a bunch more ammunition for the following turns. So I kind of lose to most of the kicker cards anyway if I try and play around them. I don't take lethal that turn necessarily, but I end up losing. Whereas if they just brick there, I can lethal them pretty quickly and easily, right? Because next turn, I hit them for 3 in the air, they're at 1. If I draw an instant, sorcery, or wizard, they're dead. Even if I don't, they're at 1 and I have plenty of blockers to get through the next turn. So I think my play was right. I'm not 100%, but I think it was good. Ari, you can't climb on my lap. I'm playing Magic. No, Kaza Royal Chaser's not a good first pick. It's a fine card. You're happy to have it in your Wizard stacks. But it is not something you should be looking to first pick. Like, I would take Into the Royal, Bubble Snare, Royal Mage even, Royal Eruption. I would take all of those cards over it at Common. It's a fine card, but not a first pick. Normally, I attack with Pack Beast in this spot. I'm not that afraid of Duelist. Maybe they have it, maybe they don't. But I need it for red mana to play Royal Chaser, Royal Eruption, and so on. So that's why I didn't attack with it. Yeah, Ari's on my lap right now. She's comforting me from all the beatings I'm taking. It's okay. I'm still playing a great limited format. I'll still take your comfort and cuddles, though. She's a hugger, too, this one. She loves to hug. It's nice having you around. I haven't had cats on the stream in a while. I'd say it's Catter Day, but every day is Catter Day, right? You don't agree with that? I said every day is Catter Day. You're gonna argue that? That's not a point I expected you to argue. I don't know. X doesn't mean any specific thing. X can mean an amount of damage or an amount of creatures, or, I mean, it's X. X is a variable, right? Like, that's usually what it's used for. Yeah, the combo with Seagate and Royal Chaser, as somebody in the chat just pointed out, is pretty good. Scarlet points out. Can you hear her purring? She's purring so loudly. Oh, let me move the laptop fan. forgot. Sorry about that. Since this is my first stream of the week, I had the laptop back like where I usually keep it, and then the fan noise is annoying. Let me move it out of the way. Sorry about that. Since I don't know how to do anything high-tech, I went with the low-tech solution. Alright, let's see. So, they got rid of our red, so I guess we play Valakut Awakening, and then we can see Gate Restoration with that. Yeah, I should have played the red tap land post-combat if I hadn't played a land yet. I just forgot. I just completely forgot. I was distracted by my laptop setup. I was moving the laptop, and the cat was crawling all over me. What's up, Nate? I would be a turn ahead had I played the red land. I'll get an extra card off the restoration this way, though. Calm down, you. Relax. Yeah, she's crawling all over. Yeah, I can't either, Deft. As we've already demonstrated this game. Okay, so if we play other things, the Seagate will get less. I mean, not if we play one thing per turn, but if we play two things. So I think I just want to fire it off. Assuming they don't have Negate or Drawry Disruption, we're drawing a lot of cards. And then we can play our lands and empty our hand and catch back up. Draw 4, nothing wrong with that, right? No, this is the first draft. It was on stream. It wasn't off stream. I did do an off stream draft, but this is the first of the 3 on stream drafts for the day. Alright, so now we have 7 mana to work with. Looks like we just Rock Slide and Royal Eruption. We can't... Oh no, we can do Pack Beast also. We can just tap the Royal Chaser. But if that's the case, can we do Molten Blast, Pack Beast, and Rock Slide Sorcerer? Yes, we can. No, we can't. Yes, we can. With 7, we can. So then we can preserve the Royal, the better removal spell, and we can still kill the Falconer if they don't have anything. This is awesome. Watch how sweet this is, assuming they don't have anything. If they have, like, you know, Shell Shield or whatever, they can mess it up. But now we can play tap 2 mana for Pack Beast. Get a ping on the 4/4. Then we can tap the Royal Chaser. Make our Molten Blast cost what it should. Just turn it into shock. 2 damage to the Falconer. And then 1 more. So we created our own Lightning Bolt there. Build your own bolt. And of course, this lets us preserve Royal, which can kill a 6/6 or a 5/5, so it's a much better card to be holding than Molten Blast. Also can go to the player. BYOB, build your own bolt. That's what it stands for. Just like we all know. Yeah, Flame Slash or something like that. Well, the opponent's got stuff too, right? They're going to make a 7/7 here. It's pretty rough. So what can we do? We can do Sorcerer and Celebrant. I need to kill that with Royal plus Kicker. And so I need the Sorcerer. So let's say I go Sorcerer, Royal Chaser, Ping. Tap the Royal Chaser, Eruption with Kicker. Do I have enough mana for that? 4, 2. I'll have 4 Wizards out, so this will cost 3. So I'm 1 short, I think. 4 and 2. This taps to add 4 towards the royal, which means it'll cost 3. So I would need 9, and I have 8. So I'm 1 short. But I don't have to do it this turn. So for this turn, and then I actually think maybe I'll just play the Royal Chaser or like the Diviner. I want to not have them kill the Rock Slide because I need the Rock Slide and the Eruption combo for next turn. Yeah, so I think I just play the Diviner here. And if they don't have discard or something, then at least next turn I can go Sorcerer, Royal Chaser, ping, Eruption with Kicker, ping, and take out the 7/7. And I just splash the Celebrant because I have 2 spoils, I have 6 white sources, plus a bunch of card drawing. Obviously, it's not a great splash, but it's a control deck, it's a defensive deck, the Celebrant's fine. It looks more awkward than it is. Like, I don't think it's good, I don't think it's horrible, I think it's whatever. Oh, no, I could need a red source. Although with the Diviner out, I wouldn't have. But now I need to actually draw a mountain to or an island or something to filter another land through Pack Beasts, I think. Also, I only have 2, 3, 4 wizards. Yeah, so with the Diviner out, I was fine without a red source, but now I actually am not, I think. But, I mean, I can always chump for a turn if I have to or something. We'll just see what else they do. Alright, so 8 mana. So I can only get off 1 ping here if I play the Sorcerer. Because I can't go Sorcerer, Royal Chaser, Eruption with Kicker because I didn't draw red. So I think I'm just going to play Sorcerer and Diviner again. I guess I can attack for 1 with the Celebrant. If they block, I can then ping it. Hey, thanks, Logic. Appreciate the subscription. Also, you're a very good rapper. So yeah, I think I can send the Celebrant. I listen to Logic sometimes. I listen to a little bit of everything, but I think he's pretty good. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 wizards. Royal Chaser would make 5. So we got to do blocks. The Sorcerer's gone, so we're not going to have a free kill on the Sky Dancer. I mean, now I have the problem of the 7/7, but for now, I guess I just want to trade with the other 2 creatures. It's better than chumping, and I'm drawing a card. I mean, I do have chump blockers, so we can see what we draw and then try and map something out from there. I mean, the 1/4 wasn't like a super useful blocker. That was part of why I attacked with it. It wasn't because I expected them to block. It was because it was a damage, or it could have chumped instead of not. I don't know. I'm not really looking to chump against a blue-black deck before I have to. Not really sure how I'm going to win this game, but remember, they played Blue Inscription and then have all this ammo. So what are they going to Blood Beckoning back? There's like Cunning Geyser Mage and Falconer. So we're on 8 mana. We need to try and sneak them to 5. It might be one of the only ways we can win. For now, 8 mana, so I can play like a Coom and either Royal Chaser or Pack Beast. I guess Royal Chaser gives me a blocker for the Wind Robber. And then, 6, let's see. Oh, wow, they have 10 mana, though, so they can Geyser Mage this turn. So they're just going to get to Geyser Mage the Akoum. But I can't play 3 things no matter what. So if they bounce one of my blockers and I only have 2 blockers, oh, then I'm dead. So I guess I have to play 3 things. So I have to just Royal Eruption like the Blight Priest, I guess. This is rough. I'm not happy right now. Just want to be clear. Oh, never mind, because I'm gaining 2 life, so I can take 3 and I'm not dead. So never mind. I'm sorry. I can afford to play 2 things. Because if they go Blood Beckoning, Cunning, Geyser Mage, I have a fine block on the Blight Priest with either the Celebrant or the Raccoon, probably the Celebrant, and then the Royal Chaser chumps the 7/7 and I go to 1. I'm not saying this is looking good. I'm just saying it's not like... I'm not like forced to use the Royal on a near meaningless creature just to not be dead on board. Yeah, this isn't going well. I mean, I have my 2 spoils to try and dig out of this. I haven't really drawn those very much this draft. I mean, obviously everything's gone awkwardly here, but... yeah, I don't think this deck is bad or anything. I don't think it's great, but I think it's fine. I think it's just the games have gone kind of rough. I mean... What do they have? This is unexpected. I mean, I guess I don't really care. Like, I'm going to shove a Coom in front of the Celebrant. I'd rather kill that than the Chronicler, because they can Blood Beckoning back the dead creature, and the Chronicler would trigger again. I can't do anything on the 7/7, because I only have 6 power up. So I have to chump that. So I guess this is almost a scripted block, unless I wanted to play around something, but I don't really care. If they have Subtle Strike, Akum still trades with the Blight Priest. It's fine. I mean, this game's not over. Like, obviously I'm looking bad, but I mean, I can double block the 7/7 with, like, Falconer and the 4/5 and only lose 1. I know they have Blood Beckoning, too. I mean, they can get back the bounce creature or, like, a 4/4 flyer. But Royal can take care of the 4/4 flyer. Like, obviously, they're probably going to have more removal and more stuff and win. My back is certainly to the wall. But I don't feel like, it's impossible for me to stabilize here. The Celebrant's doing a lot of work. As they keep bouncing creatures and we both keep drawing cards, the Celebrant has gained a lot of life and is going to gain a bunch more life. That's my cat. She's a squeaker. Right, Ari? I love talking to her. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Rachel probably thinks I'm so crazy. I literally look at her and I'm just like, "Hi, Ari," and she's like, "Meow," and I'm like, "How's it going?" And she's like, "Meow." Take down a Royal Mage? Yeah, I didn't need those. Oh, Plane's exactly what I did want. I'm obviously joking. Okay, so I think I have to Royal Eruption the Stalker. So I guess I can just play all my cards now. No real decisions. Cats are awesome, Hinaya. I love cats. I have 4 of them. Someday, like, when I have, like, a house and not, like, an apartment, I want to have a lot of cats. I mean, not a lot more than 4, but I would definitely take a few more in and just, like, basically provide a good home for as many cats as I can. I love cats. Like the Magic card. She's not named after the Little Mermaid. She's named after the Dominaria characters. So we adopted Lyra and Ariel on the day of the Dominaria pre-release. And they're both girls. So we named them after 2 of the female warriors, like, characters from that set. Lyra, the Warrior Angel Lord, and Ariel, the Night Lord. So she's Ariel. I mean, not that we actually write her name very much, but that she is explicitly named after Ariel, the Night Warrior Lord from Dominaria. Alright, so we have no blocks on the flyer. I could triple block the 7/7, though. That's not actually that bad, right? I only lose 2 of the creatures. Although, if they're going to send the 2/2 also, I'd probably rather just take the free kill on that and then just chump the 7/7. Because, like, the Pack Beast is not particularly good. So my choices here, I have to take 3 in the air, right? So I'm down to 3. and then I can triple block the 7/7 and go to 1. Or I can, and I lose 2 of the 3 and kill the 7/7, which is a big problem. Or I can pack beast on the 7/7, 4/5 on the 2/2. The reason I think I have to do this line basically is because I go to 4 instead of 1, and then it's gonna be safer for next turn. I need to draw something that answers at least the 4/4 flyer. I know I have a 4/4 flyer, but I also need to be like double blocking the 7/7, or I'm chumping it forever. But for now, I think this is the best we can do. So again, we're not in any position to be attacking, and we have 9 mana, so no real choices. Just put our cards out. We don't really have to figure out blocks, because if we know we're not attacking, we can see what they do. Yeah, they keep milling all my good cards. They milled, like, Royal Mage, Takedown, Spoils, like, all the cards I actually wanted to draw. But hopefully they're out of gas. They're never out of gas. Now I'm dead. Well, I'm just dead to the Flyers now. Alright. Starting off the day in style with a nice 0-3 with, I think, a pretty good deck. I know it wasn't like... The deck had its flaws, but honestly, I think we lost close games and the draws were awkward, and they didn't need to be. With 3 pack beasts and, you know... I don't know. I think this deck was solid, but... Good start to the day. We also never saw Roost, the best card in our deck. Like, literally not once, I think. Except that one game we were mana screwed. But, hey, starting off the week in style, right? I did need the Inn of the Royals. That is true. Like, I lost 2 different games to big creatures. Well, yeah, I was looking more towards blue-white than red-blue, but then remember, I got the Magmatic thing, the Sorcerer, the 1/2 flying rare. Hey, Redemption, we could try Roost again. Similar to last draft, there's 2 cards to consider, the Rare and Roost, and they're pretty close. Because that new Mammoth is pretty busted. I do think Roost is probably better. And I mean, when you first pick them, you get to prioritize kicker stuff the whole way. I mean... It didn't work out last time, but that, you know, doesn't mean it was wrong. I mean, I think it was just an awkward draft, because we got, like, 6-pick Falconer or something, 5th pick, whatever. So, like, clearly we were seeing blue, and we were tabling spoils and stuff. I just think the Inn of the Royals and Bubble Snares just weren't there last draft. Alright, let's see. So, clearly, ideally, you're blue-green kicker, but you don't have to be. But the next best with Roost is probably blue-black, and then blue-red and blue-white last. But that said, this pack, I mean, I'm not going to take Seafloor Stalker or Dauntless Survivor. I don't think Lithoform Engine is good in blue decks. I like this card in, like, black-white Clerics, but, like, you just have the best late game in this format when you're blue with Field Research and Royal Mage and Roost and stuff anyway. I don't think you want Engine in those kind of blue decks. The only nice thing about Engine, though, I could take it. If we go blue-green and we have Ramp and stuff, it might be okay. Also, it's colorless. Because, I mean, like, Goma Vanguard is really good, but not with Roost and a blue-red. Like, that's not really great. I mean, Shepherd is a really good card. It's splashable. And look, you can prioritize the kicker cards and play blue-white. I really don't think... Like, I would never first pick Engine over Akuma and Shepherd, but and Vanguard. But following Roost, I guess maybe I'll take Engine. Just because none of these cards really go with Roost. And, like, if I need to leave Roost, I will. But if that's the case, then maybe I'll end up building around Engine. Like, Engine I like in, like, green-black and white-black. I like Engine in grindy decks that aren't blue. In blue, I don't really love it, but, I mean, you can still make it work. You can prioritize cheap cards the whole way and stuff like that. Alright, so now there's what? Takedown and Expert. I think Takedown's better than Expert. Although I think Roost Engine will be better in blue-black than blue-white by a lot. That's a deck that can play a real nice control game, blue-black. So I think I'm going to take Acquisition Expert here. I'm not going to take Riptide. I'm not forcing blue-green. Like, if we don't see green, I'll draft blue-black or blue-white or something else. Or whatever, black-white Clerics from here. You know, who knows. We have to give ourselves multiple options. Like, you know, of course, I first picked Roost. I'm hoping to see blue-green kicker, but it's not happening, right? You don't control what's in the draft. Alright, so now, looks like a pretty easy Wind Rider Wizard. It's probably the best overall card in the whole pack. Blue-black duel, whatever. Like, these black cards are fine, like Sky Dancer. Blight Priest is better if you're black-white Clerics, but We're not looking to go into black-white for Blight Priest, so I guess just take Wind Rider Wizard. Yeah, these packs have not been good. Well, that's a reason to go into black-white Clerics if we want to. So, Scion is fantastic in black-white. It's not nearly as good in black-blue. Otherwise, I mean, there's what? Sky Dancer, or like Skyclave Sentinel is actually fine in black-blue control with Roost. I mean, it's a defensive kicker card. Thank you, Brewhemoth. Appreciate the subscription. Yeah, there's been no green. It's not a choice. The best green common is Rabid Bite, second like Gnarled Colony, third like Scythe Cat. We haven't seen like any of those cards. We can do whatever with these other cards, but there's no way to play green in this draft. We literally haven't seen a green card. I'm going to take Scion in case we need to go like black-white. If we go black-blue, Scion's generally not great, but of course we'll prioritize Gloom Hunters and Blood Priests and whatever where we can. So, guess it's just an easy Veil, because it's like virtually the only playable. So if we're going to do black-blue control with Roost, then I think we'd rather have Sky Sentinel than Sky Dancer. It's a kicker card with Roost. It's also just very defensive. Like, you can play this as a 3-mana 2/3 flyer. It's going to trade with something. It just can never attack. I mean, we're not super committed to our colors at this point. I mean, my deck's not great, obviously. This deck's starting out worse than last time. We'll probably get more wins than last time, but this might be an ugly draft day for me. I mean, here's an easy Blood Priest. Blood Priest is excellent. Good with Scion. I mean, we could meander in a black-red party. I mean, if we're not getting blue, because, like, I don't care about Glacial Grasp, so I think I'm going to take Ardent Electromancer. Our black cards actually are pretty good for black-red party. At least Expert and Blood Priest are. That said, I'm going to take Sentinel in case we do play a Blue Roost deck. No, that's like a sideboard card. The expensive Spell Pierce, that's not a good card. Lithoform Blight is not good, but it is fixing. I'm obviously not going to splash Electromancer, but you never know. So, I mean, black, I think, was reasonable this pack. I mean, we got the Scion late, we got the Blood Priest late, we got the Expert medium. I don't think we saw much in the way of any other colors, right? I feel like we saw okay black, and that's it. So this was a rough pack one. I'm going to try prioritize black cards, because that seemed to be the color we were seeing the most of. And then I really have no idea what we're going to pair with black. I mean, probably blue, but, like, we didn't really get these blue cards. Like, we didn't see much blue. Alright, well, Thort, Charix, and Into the Royal are all nice. I think Thort is probably the best of them anyway. And black is the color I saw the most of in pack one, so that makes this a pretty easy Thort. I'm not going to take Charix over Thort. I think they're close, but I think Thort's better. And black is the color I think I saw the most of. So I think it's a pretty easy Thort. So, Shade can be really good. I mean, it's combos well with, like, Wizard. You can loot it away and then bring it back for free. It is a really aggressive card since it doesn't block. That said, I mean, Black-Red is certainly still an option for us. Like I said, we first picked Roost. We have no kicker. Like, we didn't see... Like, Lithoform will be better in Black-Red, I think, than Black-Blue. So, and black is the color we're seeing. So I'm going to take Shade, and I don't know what we're going to play with it. But I'm going to look for like a black-red party or a black-white Clerics, where Lithoform Engine will be good, and Scion will be good, and Thord and Shade will be good. I don't think those cards really go well in a blue-black control. Like here, I don't know. I mean, even though we don't have a single white card yet, Emiria Captain looks really good if we go black-white. We have Rogues, we have Clerics, and then it'll be a Warrior. It'll be like a 4/4. And we do have Scion. I know we don't have other Cleric cards, but remember, there's no Royal. I mean, I could take Synchronized Spellcraft towards Black-Red, or I can take, like, Emiria Captain. I can't take a Blue-Red Gold card. We're black, and we're figuring out what we're going to play with black. So it's basically either Synchronized Spellcraft or Emiria Captain. And Emiria Captain's a good card. So this looks like just Skulker. We can't use a Red-White Lord. Even if we're black-blue, we're not like Rogues, really. We don't want Mind Carver. Skulker's just a solid card for us regardless. Hey, there's another Cleric. Alright, we're going to make this happen. Let's get this garbage out. Once in a while you get rewarded, right? Let's make something happen. This has been a very tough draft, but I think we can make this work. I think that Lithoform Engine is actually at its best in Black-White Clerics, because that's a grindy deck with life gain and a bunch of cheap cards, but it doesn't like spend all its mana in the late game like Field Research Royal Mage decks. So I think Lithoform's actually at its literal best in Black-White. Could take Pack Beast, but we don't really have good removal. I think I want the Binding here. Especially if we're definitely Black-White, which I think we are now. Scion is at its best in Black-White. Life's Bond is really good. Captain is actually excellent in Black-White Clerics as well. Pack Beast would be good for our deck. I just think we need to grab a good hard removal for Control English Black-White. Celebrant. This deck's coming. Wow. I can't believe I managed to find a lane here. Now, granted, this is Pack 2, so we don't know if we'll see Clerics again in Pack 3, but I do feel like black was the color we saw the most of in Pack 1, even though it wasn't amazing. We did get a Blood Priest like 7th in Pack 1. So I think Black-White Clerics is probably our only real lane here to have a good deck. I actually like Drana's Silencer in Black-White Clerics as well, for the same reasons I like Lithoform. It's a grindy deck full of cheap cards, and it gains life and clogs up the board, and then Silencer being a rogue, and it's a cleric deck, so it's always going to -2/-2 at least. I'm not saying I'm going to play 2, I might not, but I like these cards like Lithoform and Silencer in Black-White Clerics. I don't like Mind Carver in this deck. It's not unplayable, but I think that's just like one of our only warriors, and we have a few party cards. And we could just maybe use the 2-drop. Alright, nothing too exciting, but Deadly Alliance is always a fine card to be taking. And we have varied party stuff, so this is going to be a nice, cheap, good, efficient removal. Blade Master's playable on exciting. Shelter's good, but not as good as Deadly Alliance. Also worth noting, we're not exactly rolling in extra playables. Like, we have enough. All of these cards are fine, but, so like Landspell Modals have a little less value because we're not really going to be, we're not going to have extra spells. Because we had to drop so many of our cards because it was just such a hard draft, frankly. Alright, so this pack sucks for us. Seagate Banneret's fine in these decks. I'll probably have to take it. That's kind of embarrassing, second pick. We can't... Paired Tactician isn't doing anything. We have, like, one cheap warrior that we're not even sure if we're going to play. Wow, this is just, like... How unlucky can I get? Like, can I just open any of the decent black or white clear commons? Like, I'm not saying I have to get Relic File here. Alright, well, there's a reward. I wish I could have gotten Pack Beast last pick instead of Banneret, but Crawling Barrens is a broken card. Thank you, Crimson Ghost. Appreciate the subscription. I don't know if you can see a red ghost or not, but either way, I appreciate your support. Easy Shepherd. This card is excellent, and we're pretty diversified on our party types. I don't know how that was pick 3. I really have no idea. Another Blood Priest. This looks good. So other than that one pick where we had to take the Banneret, this pack's gone okay. I don't know what's going on right now. Did I get the Blood Priest? There we go. So, Pack 2 went well. Pack 1 went really bad. Pack 3 has been unexciting necessarily, but it's not. If you don't count that one Banneret pick, we've done okay. We got a Deadly Alliance, we got a Shepherd, we got a Crawling Barrens 3rd somehow, which is really nice. If we have enough playables, I definitely want to take Predation over Protector, but if not, I'll take Protector. This is 20, not counting the Barrens. We can use Raptor if we need to. Yeah, and we should still get another 2 or 3 playables, so I think I'm going to take Predation. It's a better card than Angel Heart Protector. It's funny, some of the cards are better not in their, like, archetypes. Like, I like Angel Heart Protector a lot in Red-White Warriors, because it's an aggressive cleric, so it can bump your party stuff in that deck, and be your only cleric. Whereas I like Drana's Silencer best in Black-White Clerics, because it's a rogue, so it bumps your party count, and it counts itself, giving -2/-2, and it's a deck that doesn't -6 drop. Here it's Blood Priest or Shepherd. I think Shepherd is better. It's close. It's our second Shepherd. We have 2 Blood Priests. We're decent at party. That's a close pick, just mostly depending on curve. Easy Celebrant over Protector, of course. This deck came together. I mean, it's not broken. I've had way better cleric decks than this, but it's not bad either. Easy shelter here, I think. I mean, we don't have equipment. We don't have other warriors. Blade Master's just a fine playable. Shelter's good. Yeah, this pack ended up pretty good. It worked out pretty well. I mean, look, we found the open lane, right? I mean, pack 1, we were seeing black, and then we saw black again in this pack pretty well. Late Predation, late Blood Priest, and so on. And nobody was in Clerics, I think. We got the Cleric of Life Bond late pack 2. We got a late Shepherd this pack. Table Decor Celebrant. Like, I think Clerics was open in this pod, and I think black was the best color for us to draft in our seat. So it was hard, starting with Roost, and, but I think that we ultimately found the right lane. I think this is pretty much the best we could do. Yeah, it sucks I missed that one Blight Priest pack 1, but I don't think I could have took it at the time. Wasn't very likely we were going to go Clerics at that time. Alright, so let's see. We have one, that's it, for land spell modals. So this is probably around 18 lands. We can maybe cut one land, maybe cut no land since Barrens is a spell. Let's see if we have any exceptionally weak cards we want to cut. Cut the Protector if we want. It's not really offering us much. Cut like a second Silencer. We have a decent amount of expensive cards. I think I like one Silencer in this deck, but not two. Because we have Scion and Thort and two Shepherds, and this is a good mana sink Lithoform. So I think we cut one Silencer. And then our land spells are pretty good, and Barrens is more like a spell than a land. So I think I'd want to have 9/9. So I think I want to cut another weak spell. We have plenty of Clerics and even like 3 or 4 Warriors. So I think we can cut Protector or Sellsword. Let's see. How many Warriors do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Clerics we're on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we have plenty of both. So I'll probably just cut Sellsword or Protector, whichever I think is weaker. I don't think we need Blood Price. I play it sometimes in decks like this if you don't have the late game cards. But we have Crawling Barrens, Thort the Grave, 2 Shepherds and Scion. We have Lithoform Engine. Like, I don't think this deck needs to play a Blood Price. If you end up like all Blood Priests and Celebrants and you don't have a decent amount of Shepherd, Thort, Scion, Lithoform Engine, Barrens type stuff, you do play a Blood Price or 2 in this deck. You're right. But I just don't think we need to this time. Hey, thank you for the generosity, Hans der Meister. Appreciate you gifting out a sub. Thank you for supporting my channel. I think I'm just going to cut Sellsword or Protector. They're both pretty weak. I don't know which. It's close. We're not really going to be attacking, but the extra Warrior, does that matter? It lowers Thort, it pumps Silencer. You know what? My cards are pretty cheap, and we're going to play, like, effectively 19 lands here. Maybe I'll put the Silencer back in for the late game card and cut both of them. Because I still have a good curve. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-drops and Banneret. And so this is enough cheap cards, I think. And then the Shepherds will catch me back up. And, like, I don't need those little aggressive creatures. I'm never really concerned about attacking on the ground with this deck. And those don't have any late game abilities. Both Protector and Sellsword are decent aggro creatures. Like, those are both creatures I like in red-white Warriors. Yeah, we could have used a little bit more black removal. I definitely agree. But we picked up that Binding, the Deadly Alliance. And we've got the 2 6-drop Rogues in a 19-land deck. So those could do some work for us if we can not get run over. So, of course, the first hand I draw is super slow. But, what are you going to do? I'd love to turn this into a 2 or 3 drop in this hand. We don't actually know if it's the other one, like if it's that one or the other one. Wow, now I don't know what to do, because we need lands, but I mean, Deadly Alliance costs 4 after Captain. I don't know whether I want to play this Predation and try and take their 3-drop or power card, or play it as a land, because we could use the lands. This is an interesting choice. Either put the Predation and play tapped, or cast it. I think I cast it. Unless they're holding multiple 3s, I can always take their 3, and that slows them down by a lot more. And if they're holding multiple 3s and they have like a power card, I can take that. I think I'm going to cast it. It's definitely close. Play it tapped or cast it right now is the choice. Okay, well, Scoot Swarm's a lot scarier than Sky Dancer. I do have some German ancestry, but I'm not sure how I'm showing it off. Okay, so I think I'm most likely just going to play the captain just to trade with the Sky Dancer, because if they attack and I block, that keeps them off the adventure for longer. If they don't, then it lowers the cost of the deadly. Lithoform's not copying anything yet, right? 4 to copy a permanent spell, so yeah. And then I can get the Shelter and play next turn. Well, Winterfell's in Germany. It's cold there. It's north, so I am a Stark from Winterfell, ancestrally from Germany, among other places. So even though this isn't exciting to play captain as a 2/2, I'll just trade off here because it keeps them off adventure for longer. They're not playing a 5/5. I'm not worried about Deadly Alliance this turn, which I can still do if I draw an on-tap land. And otherwise, I just play the tap land and Lithoform this turn. Oh, they milled Skyclave. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great for us. So like I said, even though that looks like a bad trade down, in this case it's just a 2/2 for a 2/1. I'm fine with that. So that's a pretty annoying card. But I guess I can't do anything about that. And it's not a creature type, so it doesn't allow a party type. So it won't allow Adventurer next turn. So I think this is clearly this. Oops, well, whatever. I still Lithoform. Shade can't block, and we're the control deck here. If we draw a land next turn, we can play Expert and copy it and get 2 cards out of their hand and get an extra blocker. It's kind of nice. How do I get 2 cards without a land? This copies permanents for 4. This is a permanent spell. Oh, you can copy the triggered ability. You are right. Yes, I can do that. Good call. And I think that's my best option. I don't get an extra 1/2, but I'll still make them discard 2. If they have removal, they're going to discard 0. They blow out my whole turn. But they have to have drawn it. You know, like we predation them 2 turns ago, 3 turns ago. Because, I mean, my other option is I don't want to play Life Bond. Because if I draw a land, I can play Life Bond and copy it. And I don't want to Deadly Alliance this 3/3. I want to Deadly Alliance Veteran Adventurer. So I guess I do want to go Expert and copy the ability. It would have been better to play it with a land copy and get an extra 1/2, but nothing. I think this is the best I can do. Because, I mean, 1 land away from copying a Life Bond, and then we'll get two Life Bonds. So I don't want to play that right now. Hopefully they don't have an instant removal. There's not a lot. I mean, there's Deadly Alliance and Vanquish. And, I mean, whatever. If they have one, they should use it rather than discard 2 cards, probably. And it's not a good turn for me. But that would have killed the Life Bond or something better. So hopefully they don't have anything. But if they do, like, good beats, then they're using the removal on my Acquisition Expert. Like, it could be worse. Removal does work here, because they kill the Expert, so then I have no party type, so they don't discard anything. So removal works, because we have 0 party type out then. But, again, then they're using the removal on my Expert. So it's a good turn for them. They just, they trade a removal for the Expert, and they don't discard any cards. But better than them killing Cleric of Life Bond. And they probably don't have one. I mean, we predationed them a couple of turns ago. Also, a lot of the removal, like Rabid Bite, is sorcery speed. Feed the Swarm and Rabid Bite are sorcery speed. Vanquish and Deadly Alliance were instant. So there was a couple they could have and a couple that didn't work. So that's not a very good draw, though. Because now I wanted to just draw a land so I can play Cleric of Life Bond and copy it. I can Deadly the Scrackmaw on their turn if I want to It's just turning it into a 3/3. If they draw a land, I can Deadly the 6/5 end of their turn. I mean, my only choice is Bond and Strand 3 mana or leave up Deadly, so I think I'm just going to pass the turn. I'm not going to Deadly the 3/3 when they attack. Certainly not. If they draw a land, I can just Deadly away their 5/5 end of turn, and I'm happy with that. If they pass the turn and don't play anything, I might Deadly the 3/3 end of turn. I should probably have already decided that. I guess I probably won't. I can grow things bigger than a 3/3. Well, now I will, because that's a party type and it doesn't leave a 3/3 in its wake. I didn't really want to Deadly this because it would just get replaced by another 3/3 anyway. Obviously, that's going to happen at some point, but there's not a lot of now value. But I'll Deadly this 3/3 since that's going to make them have to draw land to play Adventurer, and it doesn't leave an extra 3/3 in play when I kill it. I didn't play the Bond because I'm one land away from playing the Bond and copying it, which is really strong for me. And there we go. Sorry, Shade, you're still going to have to wait. I got Cleric of Life bonds to do. And then copy a permanent spell, so we get 2 of you. So one of you will be a 3/3 and we'll gain a little life. And then if we draw clerics, which we have a lot of, life will be good. Oh, they're both 3/3s. I didn't even realize they come into play. That's weird. One comes into play, and then the other comes into play. How do they both grow to 3/3s? Oh, because they're both in play when I gain a life. Right. So I only gain 1 life, not 2, but they're both in play when I gain that life, so they both become 3/3s. I get it. Right, I get it. Oh, I only trigger one of them, but, like, I gain 1, and then they both gain life, then. I understand. Okay, I think I gotta trade one of these away. I guess I'm better off trading the real one, because I have ways to recur things. It's like, just automatic, you almost think to trade the token, but I think it's better to trade the real one. Yeah, I guess I don't need full control. I'm just playing it safe. But Lithoform is supposed to give you priority. I think it does. I think I've had that come up before. This is draft number 2, yeah. Alright, so we can Drana Silencer for 2. That's not very good. We can play Shade as a 5/3, or we can get 2 3/1s. Probably get 2 3/1s. That's better than 1 5/3. So I think what we want to do this turn is attack for 3 and play Shade. And copy it. Oh, no, you know what? Let's attack with both, though. Because if they block with the Nectar Pot, then we can kill it with the Silencer for 2. And then that's a better turn, I think. And then we can just hold the land and play Shade later, so. If they didn't block, then I would just make 2 Shades. So I'm going to keep trying to work around that for now. Because if I trade with it, they just get another 3/3 anyway. And while we can't kill both Scoots, we really don't need to. Killing 1 Scoot is good. So I think this turn is easy. We just kill a Scoot, attack for 7. I should probably attack first, because if they don't know I have the Silencer, they may be more likely to chump, or like double block the Expert, and that's better for me. But post-combat, pretty much no matter what they do, I'm going to go Silencer a Scoot, because I can't let those multiply. And then next turn I can play Binding and copy it, and kill the Grakmaw and the 5/5. So this is looking pretty good. I mean, I don't have enough mana to copy the Silencer trigger. I would need 8. And I held the land for a good reason, because it brings back Shade. But next turn I can play land, and then Binding and copy it. Well, it costs mana. This isn't free to use, right? I have to have 8 mana to copy the Silencer trigger. Okay, I see no reason to keep taking the damage. Like, we're going to win this game as a control deck. I know that I was probably going to double binding, but I'm still just going to do that. And what if they drew a pump spell or is off consumption? There's just no need to lose to that. Now we're going to double binding. This is just glorious. Sorry, Shade. You're still going to have to wait. I've just got better stuff to do than you. What? I don't get to change the target? You may choose new targets for the copy. It says... Oh, because it's a permanent, not an instant or sorcery. Alright, well... What do I want to do now? I guess just pass. Because I don't want to trade... I would trade Silencer for the 3/3, but I don't want to trade Life Bond since it can grow. Thanks, Turnip. Appreciate the subscription. Yeah. Not ideal. Because you get to change the targets. Like, if you copy an instant or sorcery with this, you get to kill 2 different creatures. That's how the card works. But I guess if you copy a permanent, you don't. So... Because permanents don't generally target things on the stack or whatever, but... Wow, and the opponent with the 2 straight removal spells, we can still lose this game. Alright, well, I can always chump next turn, so I'm not going to chump now. See what we draw. So I guess now it's the 2 shades. Sadly, we're still a mana off. Yeah, we learned how it works. Yeah, so I have to play a land, and then I can play a shade for 5. I can't kick a shade and copy, right? I'm 1 short. 5 to play it kicked, and then 4 to copy it. Or 2 short or something. I'm a lot short. Copy the counter ability? Does that work? I don't know if that's a trigger. I think it just comes into play with them. I think I just make 2 3/1s. I can copy this. I could have the ability to play Shade twice, but that doesn't do a lot. So I think... And then we just copy it. I mean, look, it's still just a game. If they draw a land for 1 scoot, they're a while for multiplying. If they draw removal, we're dead. But if they draw like a land, you know, we just draw any permanent or any instant or sorcery. Basically any spell, we can copy it. So hopefully we just don't draw another land, right? Like, we might actually be a favorite in this game. Like, any spell we can copy with Lithoform is going to be really strong. And now we're dead. We just needed any spell in the deck, basically. Any creature, any removal, we would play it and copy it, and we have the 2 shades, like... But we drew 100 straight land to lose. Well, one of the lands is a Crawling Baron, so that's actually a spell. Not today, I'm not. Wow. Didn't think I was going to lose that one, but they drew all spells and we drew all lands. Maybe the binding turn still cost me, though, right? I'm not sure, though, because, like, what would I have done that turn? Because, like, I mean, would I rather bring back Shade and copy it than binding a 5/5? It was definitely a good time to learn that it worked that way. I'm not sure if I would have scripted things a little differently. I did have enough to double Shade, but I didn't have enough to double Shade and binding. So, like, I could have made 2 3/1s instead of binding in the 5/5. Or I could have just binding the 5/5. And I could have played Shade as just a 3/1, start attacking with it. This is probably the most straight losses I've started a stream off with. Let's go for 0-9, right? We always talk about going for like 9-0s or 10-0s or whatever, and you know, then they can best of 3s. Maybe today we can go for 0-9. hope I'm not at 41. 32 and 8. Looks like 40. Oh, this is perfect. Now we can... You know how last game we drew all lands? Well, now we can just draw all spells and lose the game with all of our expensive cards in hand and no 4 lands. Oh, the deck is good, but... you know, I think the last deck was good, too. I mean, the mana wasn't bad or anything. Okay, so Lithoform or Captain. Captain's already a 3/3, I'm pretty sure. We just want to get that going. I am officially the best loser in Pro Magic history. The one pro record I have is most GP second places. So I am actually the best at losing. Losing the finals, which is still a pretty good place to be, but, you know. Hey, man, there's a lot of pro players. The tour's been around for a long time. I'm just proud to have any record. All right, let's see. Do we want to block? I mean, I do want to play a long game with this hand, but if I draw a land, I get 2 life right back from having the warrior in play, and my creature has vigilance, so I can always take it, hit for 3, and see what happens next turn. That said, I kind of want to play a long game, so I think I probably should block. They can't do anything with 1 red, and they may have a bunch of tricks for future turns, and I can thwart that back, and I just don't really want to get run over. Let's attack first, since that doesn't fuel the shepherd anyway. Yeah, if I knew they could never have a trick, I wouldn't block there. The reason I blocked was because, like, you know, blue has Duelist and Shell Shield and Chilling Trap, so I wanted to block while shields were down. That was the reason I actually made the block. Alright, this is easy. You just attack with both and play Shepherd. If they want to trade Diviner for Blood Priest to get a card, be my guest. They can't double block Shepherd. Nothing wrong with 3/4 flying gain 2, even though it has the potential to do considerably more. That's probably going to be hard to do, Miserloo. I don't know who the oldest player to have a Pro Tour top 8 is. When was Finkel's last top 8? He might have been like he's like 5 years older than me, I think, so he's probably like 42. So he might have had his last top 8 around 38 or 39. That's an interesting question. I don't actually know who the oldest player to have a top 8 is. Pro Tour top 8. Like at their 8. At top 8 at the oldest age. Well, yeah, but I'm not necessarily counting these mythics the same as, like, the Pro Tours. I mean, how many people were in the event Kai top 8'd last year? LSV is, like, my age. Eric Taylor top 8'd a Pro Tour? Not to my knowledge. He is famous for eating his own hat after Kai top 8'd, after Kai won 3 straight Pro Tours. Yeah, Thwart here looks pretty good. Get back the Cleric and the Warrior. We've got the Rogue. And yeah, they should be dead. Let's see. Do I attack first? No, that would take me off lethal. So... Hey! 1 in 4. Hall of Famer. Hate to have my dreams of 0 and 9 shattered. The Emiria Captain's a warrior, so it counts. I know. I don't know if I've ever had 3-7 win drafts on stream. I've definitely had 2 plenty of times, but I don't know if I've had 3. 3 of 3. Can't remember. Sorry to disappoint you, Godfries. Hi, Real Freebie. Well, this is my second draft of the day, so you missed the first and the second. They'll be up on the Twitch VODs and on the YouTube channel, though, like always. Hey, a real hand if we draw lands. Look at this. I guess we don't have a 4-drop, but we do have turn 2 Life Bond, turn 3 Blood Priest. I mean, the artifact is slow, but remember, like, Cleric struggles with, like, blue-green kicker and decks that just have better late games, and the artifact's a way you can win that game. Like, it does its best in your worst matchups, giving you, like, the ultimate late game against the decks that out late game you. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Cunio's ancient. I'm surprised to hear he's only 44. I thought he was more like 64. I'm not even kidding. One time after, like, a Pro Tour, I think it was actually a Grand Prix in, like, Worcester or whatever, but we, like, went back to Boston for our flights that night or something, and we were walking around, and there was, like, a thing that said, like, something like Andrew Cuneo, I think, and it was, like, died in 1915 or something, and we were just like, that sounds about right. The oldest to win a GP is 52. That's going to be hard. I tried, Craze K, I tried. You gotta admit, that city is not phonetic based on the way it's spelled here. Like, if you want it pronounced the way it's spelled, you could at least spell it closer to the actual English pronunciation, to be fair. Hey, that's awesome, target player. Congrats. Not on being 46, but on having won a GP. So this is a 2-lander. We're on the play, but we have a bunch of 2-drops, so I can't imagine I'm going to mold this. None of the other 2-drops are clerics, so this is not super exciting. I do have 2 core celebrants to go with the life spawn, but didn't draw them here, so we'll just put out some creatures and see how this game develops. All lands or no lands, that's pretty much the story of our day. So let's see. If I trade Skulker for that, it can help clear the way. Honestly, I could just trade the life spawn for it. I don't have Celebrant or Land 3, and I'm nowhere near growing it with Shepherd. I think I'm just going to attack with both. Yes, I know this turns the Expert down by 1, but who cares if they show me 1 card or 2? I didn't want to tell them I had a 1-2, because that might make them not block or something like that. If they had, like, 2 cards in hand, I would Expert pre-combat every time. But when they have 6, like, I don't think it matters much whether they show me 1 card or 2. They're probably literally just showing me another island or a forest or something that's slightly worse. Okay, no real choices here. Of course, we'll attack. This would be a good trade, and then land Banneret. On the bright side, if we get one more trade and we draw a swamp, we can cast Thwart. So, of course, it's a Plains. What can they do with Flash here? The 3/3? Because, I mean, it's kind of unlikely they don't have anything. The Skulker has Death Touch, so that can attack safely anyway. So I should probably attack with just Skulker, and then I can play the Lithoform. It could be. I mean, I wanted to use all my mana. I mean, you never know what you're going to draw. But yeah, it would have been hard for that hand to fill out so that I used all my mana every turn. Near impossible. It might have been right to play the Banneret before the Expert. Juan, you could be right. So hopefully we'll draw a Swamp. If we draw a Swamp, we definitely have a game. I mean, then we have Shepherd, and then if they kill it, we have Thort. We're one land away from Silencer. I mean, obviously we're losing on board, but, you know, we're a Swamp away from unlocking a pretty good hand. Thanks, Rat Kicks. The draws today have just all been rough. I mean, that's an LSV stream pun, Jackal. Yeah, that is a weird attack. I mean, I guess they're on the aggro, and they probably just didn't have anything better to do than play Jace this turn. Like, because, I mean, you know, they do want to beat me before I draw lands. They are winning the race, like, easily. So I'm guessing their logic was just that, like, they just didn't have anything better to do. Alright, we can copy the Blood Priest. Actually, do I attack Jace or them? Because now with the double Blood Priest, the Blood Priest is hitting for 6. I think I just... Maybe I'll hit the one Jace for 2 and ignore the other Jace on 4. I can... Yeah, I mean, I can deal them 10 and put them down to 2 and leave both Jaces. Or I can... but, like, Jace is drawing cards. I think I take out the Jace on 2 and ignore the Jace on 4. Because I can't take out both Jaces anyway. So I think this is the right play. I mean, if I get to Thort, I'm probably going to win anyway. That's not really the game I want to plan for. I mean, it's close. Like, obviously putting them to 2 means they have to have an extra blocker back. But also they could just zero Jace and draw an extra card, right? So, like, killing a Jace takes them off a card. And, I mean, it was only 2 life. I couldn't kill both Jaces no matter what, so I decided to deal 2 to them rather than remove 2 loyalty from this Jace. So that we can evaluate our options this turn. Like, if we draw a land and have Banneret pump, then they need to have all 3 blockers back or they're dead. So that's why I chose to put them to 4 as opposed to leaving them at 6 and dealing 2 to this Jace. But by knocking out a Jace, they get 1 less card to work with on this turn. They could have always zeroed that Jace on 2 and just drawn a card, right? I like that. Probably just Shepherd here, but I guess Skulker for any of their 3 creatures is a good deal for me. I want a second creature in the yard for Thort. A land's not lethal because they left back all 3, but if they would have attacked with 1, a land would be lethal. If I would have put them to 2, a land would be lethal, but they could have double spelled, right? Like, if they're at 2, maybe they just play the Sentinel and some other cheap thing. How do I copy Priest? Oh, I can copy the card, yeah, but I need way more mana. It's 2 to copy the activated ability and 4 to copy a permanent. I mean, if I attack with everything, I can't, like, Thort and kill them this turn. I don't have the mana to, like, to do it all. Thort's going to cost more after my creatures die. If I, like, Thort's going to cost 4 if just the priest dies. It's not as smooth as you're thinking. I think that this turn, I have 2 rogues, so, I mean, I think I pretty clearly just hit with Skulker and play Shepherd. I want the second creature to die. Shepherd's a fine threat. I can't lethal them this turn. There's no way to do that. They don't even have a wizard. They're not even drawing a card here. Now I have 2 clerics, so I can next turn I can do what we were talking about last turn. I can attack with just the priest if they're tapped out, and if they kill it, then Thort won't go up from 3 to 4 because I'll still have Shepherd out as another cleric, and then I can play the Thort, get the priest, and then copy the priest's ability. I won't necessarily go for that if they have mana up. We'll have to see what we draw and what the options are like, because we're in a really good position now that it's 23-4 and we have Lithoform Engine out. But if they're tapped out, I can get a lethal this time, the way we talked about it last time. Now I have to draw a land again to do it because they killed my extra cleric. Okay, but now we drew a land, so now it works. We can attack with Just Priest. If they don't block it, they go to 2. We don't have any way to lethal them from 2 this turn, but that's okay. We're happy we got in the 2 damage. If they kill it, we can thwart it back, paying 4, and then when it comes into play, we can copy its ability for 2. So first and foremost, we'll attack with Just Priest. Obviously, we're like telegraphing that we have a way to bring it back, but who cares? If they take it, we're just going to play like Drana's Silencer and kill like the 3/3 flyer. If they block it, then we can win the game. And we put them to 2, like, we're happy. So, like, you know, we're happier if they block than if they don't block, but we're happy either way. It's not like we're screwed if they take it or something. And then, I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? I think Skulker's probably... Nah, we'll want to bring back Shepherd. Ah! I wanted to bring back Priest more than any other creature. I was deciding between Skulker and Shepherd as the other one, the Death Toucher or the 3/4 flyer, because it's smaller than their 4/5. So I was trying to decide between Death Touch or the 3/4 flyer that gains life, because I already have a ton of life. No, now we're not happy. Now we're not happy. So I guess this turn we trade Skulker for something, and then... I don't actually want a Silencer or Binding this turn into their Shell Shield, but I'd much rather Silencer, I guess. Oh, wow, I'm messing up again. I should have Silencered first. Well, no, it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it does, because if they trade the Diviner, then I won't have any targets for it. So I guess maybe I don't even attack then. Copy the Binding. Well, they're going to Shell Shield whatever the Binding's targeting, so that's not going to work. So Skulker's a good trade for Diviner, but I don't think I make that trade. I think I'm just going to add Silencer to the board. They can Shell Shield, but that gets that out of their hand. It gives me a 4th creature. If I draw a land, I can copy Seagate Banneret Pump. I mean, obviously I meant to get back Blood Priest. That was just a misclick. I was debating between Skulker and Shepherd, which is close if it's relevant, but clearly the Blood Priest copy it should have ended the game. We're still in really good shape. I mean, see if they can get out of this. If anything, it's more of a fun sweat. Remember, if we draw a land, we can Banneret and copy it with the Lithoform. It's pretty good. That gives us a pretty good attack. We could also Binding the biggest creature and attack, even though we can't copy it, so... They're going to still need to have some pretty good stuff to get out of this. You can't copy Binding, really. I mean, you can, but they have to go on the same creature, apparently. We learned that the hard way, Siffy. Alright, so now we can go Binding or Shepherd. Clearly, Shepherd is more impactful, but Binding might give us an attack. So if we Binding the 4/5, they can't do anything with 1 green. And then Silencer has to get blocked, or they would die. So let's say they put the Diviner on Silencer. The Living Tempest can eat one of the 1/2s, and they go to 1. So the end result is they lose Diviner and don't lose Tempest. We lose Silencer and the Banneret. And then we have Skulker and Expert left, and they're at 1, and they have just Sentinel. So it's close. That seems worth it. Maybe not because of the Banneret's ability, though. I mean, the trade of Silencer for Diviner is good for me, and putting them to 1, leaving me with 2 threats to their 1, means they probably can't attack with the 4/5. So yeah, I think that's good. We're not expecting to get a better target for binding than the 4/5. It's nice to do it while shields are down. Actually, I guess I don't have to send the 1/2s. I just won't send the 1/2s. I'll just send these two. They're still forced to block one. And if they block both, I'm happy. Both of these kill both their flyers. What am I even saying? I was so, like, focused on the alpha because they're at 4. But I'll just send just Skulker and Silencer here. Either one of those trading with either of their flyers is good for me, and if they let either one through, it's the same amount of damage as if I send the 1/2s. There's no reason to send the 1/2s in the spot. I can force them to go to 1, but, like, whatever. If they want to trade their flyers for my ground creatures here, these are good trades for me. And I want to keep the Banneret around. I can pump, and I can copy the pump with 1 more mana. This is definitely the right attack. And that makes this definitely the right line, because this is a good attack. By removing the 4/5 blocker, now they have to trade with my ground creatures, clearing the way for the little ones and removing scary flyers, or they have to take damage getting really low. So that makes this a pretty clear turn. Well, I couldn't anticipate that, but... So yeah, I still like that line. Obviously, if I knew they had Vast with Fortification, I might play the Shepherd instead, but there's no way to put them on that there. Also, if I draw land, I can copy Shepherd's ability for some extra life, so that's kind of nice. Not a huge deal since I'm on the offensive, but it's still kind of nice. I do have another Blood Priest, too, to draw to just end the game. Even though I threw away the Thort Recursion, I think I have 2 of that card. Alright, no decisions this turn, I think. Shepherd and copy the life gain. Gain our 12. Not as sweet as lethaling them, but not the worst. I don't really want to trade this for the Blight Blade. It's not horrible, but if I draw a removal that interacts with the Blight Blade, all of these represent potentially pretty good attackers, given I have Seagate Banneret. Plus, this is fueling party for Blood Priest and things like that. It's my only rogue now. No help there. Can't really attack into the Gnarled, so now I'm just chilling. I know, that was a misclick. It wasn't strategical. I wasn't, like, thinking I didn't want the Blood Priest. Like, I was debating between the Skulker and the Shepherd, which, in addition to the Blood Priest, was the plan. Now Blood Priest isn't quite enough, even. So I can copy Shelter. I'm dead to their flyers, though, and the Shepherd doesn't untap. So am I dead? I can Shelter Pro Green and Pump, but that's not going to do it. I think I'm just dead. I can give 2 creatures Pro Green and then deal them 2. I can give 1 creature Pro Green and Pump and deal them 2. 2 isn't 7. I can Shelter the Shepherd, but it's not going to untap till next turn. I think I'm dead. Copy life gain. What life gain? Yeah, if I drew the Shelter 1 turn earlier, then it would have been pretty good. I could have played it and given Pro Green to one of my creatures and given Pro Blue to the Angel, and then pumped and put them down to 2 and had the Angel on tapping. I mean, what are you going to do? That was a misclick. It wasn't strategical. It happens to everybody. It's happened to my opponents. Digital Magic is awesome. You have to accept that 1 in 100 games or whatever, you're just going to misclick. I actually don't even find it that frustrating. Like, I don't like it, but I consider it part of the game. Like, it happens to my opponents, it happens to me, it balances out, it's whatever. That only copies permanent spells, not permanents in play, marky mark. So when you cast a creature, you can copy it, but once it's already in play, you can't. Alright, so clearly we want to play a long game if we can. We're going to want to play Shelter as a land. So I think we play Shade. It can't block, so we don't want to trade 2 for 1, and we want to play a long game. So we'll happily trade Banneret for Wizard just to keep the life totals up. It means we can't Binding next turn, but unless we draw like a bunch of straight like lands and cards, like we weren't going to be able to play a spell every turn forever anyway with this hand. Cool. Now we can get our Shelter and play tapped. No worries. Not looking to Binding a 1/4. We just want to lengthen the game so that we can cast Shepherd and these silencers. Hey, Maygod, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate the support. Yeah, it's not possible to misclick in paper, but you also miss triggers. You mess up your life total. Like, you know, there's things that are also not possible to do in digital that are possible in paper. I just accept things like that. We're all human, right? If I wanted to be really aggressive, I could Binding the Celebrant and attack with the Shade, but then I'd start taking 3. I'm happy to play a long game against red-white with my deck. I could bluff a Subtle Strike because it does have the recursive ability, but also if they attack, then the Shade can attack, right? So, although now I'm probably going to attack with the Shade because if they block, I'm just going to replay it as a 5/3 because they have 2 different 1/4s. So if they take it, I play a 3/4. And if they block it, I replay it this turn as a 5/3, because I can afford to take 2, but then a 5/3 would actually command an answer. It's not a free attack. If they block, the card goes to my graveyard, and then they can attack me until I recast it. I mean, I guess if I'm playing land 4 and doing nothing, it's a free attack. Yeah, it was free the 1 turn or whatever. Right, it was free on exactly turn 3, because I was doing nothing. You are right. That's true, yeah, because I could replay it and I was doing nothing otherwise. So it was free that turn. You're right. By and large, it's not just auto-bluff, auto-free, but on that particular turn it was a free attack. I should have done it. Good job as usual, chat. On turn 3 exactly, it should have attacked. Thank you, Jamie Jaco. Appreciate the subscription. Merry Christmas to you as well. A lot of Cleric decks have a party sub-theme, because that's how you make Blood Priest the best, and things like that. So let's see. We have Rogues and Clerics, so -2/-2. We don't have a Rogue out, but now we can kill whatever blocks Shade. So we're definitely going to attack with Shade. If we send Skulker, it doesn't have Death Touch, but we can also kill whatever they block Skulker with. So I think I send Skulker and Shade. I know they can double block Skulker, but, like, who cares? Then we get to play Silencer and finish off a Celebrant. They'll gain less life, whatever. Plus, they have to assume we have something. It's a pretty risky double block. Like, if I bring in Skydancer, I kill both Celebrants with the Skulker. Now, if they take it, though, we didn't need the Skulker back to block, but we don't really have any good play with the Silencer, right? I don't really want to play land and Silencer just to give something -2/-2. I guess I could silence my own Shade. Does this hit creatures you control? No, it doesn't. I wouldn't mind silencing my own Shade so I could replay it as a 5/3. So, I mean, this is just hit for 2 to take 1 back, because we have a 1/4 to block one of the 1/4s. So, like, you know, I like that attack, but I was hoping they would block. I mean, they're probably not ghosting. It's totally reasonable not to block in that spot. Alright, so now I have my own 3-3. I do kind of need to silencer the Banneret, or I can't block the 3-3 anyway. So I think this turn, I still have plenty of life, is just attack with Skulker and Shade. If they block the Captain on the Skulker, then I can finish it off with Silencer. If not, then I Silencer the Banneret for 2. I know the Captain makes the Silencer 3, but I can kill their Emeria Captain later. I can't block the Emeria Captain with mine if they have Shade, a Banneret. I mean, I can, but they'll pump and trade, and that's not really good for me. I'd be trading a 4-4 for a 3-3. I'd rather kill the Banneret first and then play the Captain next turn. Because, like, I can't even block Shepherd because they can turn it into a 4-5. And I don't want to trade my 4-4 Captain for their 3-3 Captain. That's not a good deal. Meanwhile, I still have plenty of life. I even have a Core Celebrant now. So, like, I can take 6 and go to 10. And now next turn I can play a 4-4 Captain bigger than their Flyers. I probably misspoke, but the play is right. Okay, so this turn, we definitely want to play Healer and Captain, I think. Do we want to be doing any attacking? I don't want to Drana Silencer off a Core Celebrant this turn, so probably not. I guess I can send Skulker. That's just like free damage. Yeah, so I'll just send Skulker and then play the Healer and the Captain. Because Captain counts itself, and it's a warrior. I knew Captain was going to be a 4-4. That was why I wanted to silence away the 1-2. Because I can't block with Captain if I play it as a 4-4. Because they'll activate Banneret. So I don't really want to trade my 4-4 flyer for their 3-3 flyer, right? I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but I'd rather play it as a 4-4. If they have removal, they were going to have the removal anyway. That said, this is getting tight. I mean, I can gain 2, and I've got another silencer, but they had a removal, so now I'm back to pressured. So I think now we want to be attacking. I mean, if they block anything with Captain, we can finish it off, and that's really good for us. So I think I'm just going to send everything but Celebrant. Since they killed my only warrior, the silencer's only for 2. I only have clerics and rogues right now. So I can't kill the Emeria Captain unless they block with it. And so, I mean, I'm going to kill a Celebrant if I have to, probably, because next turn would probably be too late anyway. But at least this way I get to add another 3-2, gain a life off my Celebrant, help clear the board. Maybe I can kill them next turn with a Blood Priest or a removal or something. I've been attacking with Shade a lot of the time. I didn't attack with Shade last turn because there was no way I could replay it. If they blocked it, I would have put it in the yard, and then I would have still played Healer and Emeria Captain. Remember, Shade isn't free. Like, you have to pay mana for it, and you have to play a land to bring it back. I should have attacked on turn 3, because that was a free attack. But just because, like, Shade can come back, it doesn't, like, magically come back for free. It requires you making a land drop, and it requires you spending mana. Like, now, they did block with Captain, so that's good. Now I can greatly slow down their clock here. But you see, I can't bring Shade back this turn. Now, I'm going to hold the land, and I'll bring it back later. But I'm just saying. I should have attacked with it on turn 3, for sure. I don't think it was better in the yard. It was stopping things from attacking me, and I had a silencer in hand, so it was a good attacker. If they blocked it with something like a 1-4, I could silencer it away. Don't get me wrong, I should have attacked on turn 3. That was a free attack. But other than that, it was hardly better in the yard, I think. Alright, so do we have any attacks now? Skulker can trade with Blade Master. That doesn't really help or hurt the situation. It's probably worth doing. If I send the 2 silencers, they double block 1 and then take 3. That's not a good deal for me. So it looks like we send just Skulker. I think I do want to trade it for Blade Master. They could draw an equipment. You're welcome. And listen, the chat was right. I should have attacked on turn 3. That was just a free one. I just missed. The other turns, I'm not really sure, but it should leave me a black, right? Yeah. Chat is often right. Chat's right more often than I am, if the chat agrees. Like, I mean, to be fair, it's, 1146 to 1, so I would hope the chat would be right more often than me. But the chat is definitely right more often than I am. I always say crowdsourcing is the most powerful force in the entire universe. Okay, let's see. So, of course, the Shade's going to attack. The Skulker can trade with the Healer or the Blade Master. Probably should attack. It's not doing more on D, and those trades are profitable, I would say. I don't think we're in a position to send the 2 Silencers or anything else yet. So it looks like Shade and Skulker is our attack. And then we might as well hold the 1 land in case they kill Shade. This is tight now. I mean, it's 3 turns with the Shepherd, but we have to draw removal, our own Shepherd, Thort. Blood Priest would buy us time. Swamp does nothing. But can I do an all-out attack or anything like that? I mean, I probably can't do an all-out because they could always just attack back for lethal with the Celebrant. Maybe next turn. So this turn, let's say I sent, like, Shade and 2 Silencers. They double block 1 and trade the other. Yeah, I can't do anything besides attack with Shade this turn. I'm going to lose this race if I don't draw anything, but there's nothing I can do about that. Hopefully we'll draw Blood Priest, removal, or Shepherd, or Thort. We have a lot of good draws. But if we just keep drawing lands and creatures, we're not going to win. I need to draw, like, Deadly Alliance. Well, now they have 2, 3, 4s. I don't even know if I can win now. That's probably not going to do it. I think I'm just dead. It's not like I'm going to provoke anything good by sending the 3/2s. They're just going to put 1/4s on them. This was a good game. I mean, I should have won that other game. Obviously, that was a misclick. This game I should lose. This was a good game. I mean, the opponent drew nicely. I drew okay. I mean, the drafts have been rough today. But, I mean, like I said, this one we went 2-3, and it was really 3-2. I misclicked a win into a loss, so. And this was a tough seat in this draft, and I'm pretty proud of this Black-White Clerics deck. Like, this deck was good, and the seat was really hard. This finished pretty nicely. I mean, I didn't really draw my Scion. I didn't draw, like, lands and the Cleric. I never drew, like, a lot of my better cards, right? Like, I never drew the Crawling Barons once, probably the best card in my deck. And I misclicked away that one game. And this was a tough seat, so I'm pretty proud of this deck. Alright, let's rally. Let's get our rally caps on. Third and final draft of the day. We are 2-6, a beautiful record, to be sure. To get to 500, we need, what, 5 more wins? So we need to go like 7-1 to get to 500 on the day. That gives us 9-7. Or 7-2 works. That gives us 9-8. So we need to get 7 wins in this draft to get to 500 on the day. Hall of Famer. Yeah, I don't, like, Dyron, I don't play the same way when I'm playing in tournaments. My number one focus is on explaining my thoughts and interacting with the chat. So, like, that's why I don't stream, like, when I'm playing in, like, big tournaments or whatever. I just, like, I do all my thinking and then I do all my plays in batches and all of that. I do my best to communicate everything I'm thinking when I'm streaming, and that's my number one focus. I figure that's what you're here for, right? Alright, so this is a pretty easy pick. Ooze is a totally busted rare. Vine Gecko's good. Nothing wrong with first picking it. Even if you don't go green-blue kicker, you can prioritize green kicker cards. If you go turn 2 Gecko, turn 3 Reclaim, you're attacking for 3, and you got a handful of lands after that. It's pretty good, even if you're not green-blue. But Ooze is busted. My second choice of this pack would be Gecko. And then after that, probably like Veteran Adventurer. This pack is very green. So you want to be green-black. You don't have to be. Green-white is probably the next best counters deck because you have Landfall. Could certainly take Fearless Fledgling. If we take Myriad Construct, that lets us stay one color for now. Though green-white Landfall is an excellent spot for Ooze. Well, a 3-mana Lightning Rod is a good card. Like, it's like a free roll. Like, it's a problem if you play like a 6-mana 2/2 that has to untap, because then it's going to trade down a bunch of mana. But if you trade a 3-mana card for their removal or get to untap with it and then win, like, that's great. Yeah, I think Fledgling is definitely better than Construct in green-white. I do like that Construct can go in any deck, but I don't know if Construct's even that good a card, especially not in green where your creatures are already big. Like, I like Construct around in, like, black-red decks and stuff, but, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like Fearless Fledgling goes really well with Ooze. I don't think Construct is very good in green decks. I'll probably get punished for this and won't even play the Fledgling, but I really just don't think Myriad Construct is a good card in green decks. Like, it's playable, but I think it's a good card if you have, like, like a blue-black or red-black where you have removal and your creatures are small. But in a green deck, I just don't even think Myriad Construct's anything special. Like, I'd rather just have a side cat. So here I think it's a pretty easy Rabid Bite. We don't know if we're green-white yet or not. Rabid Bite and Bubble Snare are close. In blue-green, I would always take the Bubble Snare, but at this point, we're probably seeing green, and we have a first-pick bomb that's green. So now, yeah, I'm staying open either way. I'm not committed to white for a Fearless Fledgling. I miss out on a Myriad Construct, but like I said, I just don't think it's even a very good card in my, like, green creature deck. I'm not saying I wouldn't play it. Like, it's a solid playable, obviously. But I think I'll miss Fearless Fledgling a lot if I do end up green-white, and I don't think I'm going to care about that construct. That said, I'm not going to take a white card here. I'm not going to take Jerboa. This pick is between Shatterskull, Minotaur, and Vanquish. Jerboa is okay, but it's not very good. Vanquish and Minotaur are much better. Green-black is the best counters matter deck. Minotaur is better than Vanquish. I think, given the broken rare, though, probably should take the Vanquish. So this pack doesn't really have anything good, but it is mostly red. So we might want to just consider taking the Hazard here and keeping our color options open. I'll definitely play green anything from here. Skulker is not particularly good in green-black. Green has better options for creatures. You don't really have rogues in green except Blightblade, which isn't very good. Yeah, I think I want the Spellcraft, although it's not very good in green-red either. But I guess I don't know what else I would take. Well, now there's Elite Kabira Takedown, and the only playable cards in this pack are white, so Kabira Takedown's better than Cleric, so this is not really a choice. And now there's Florahedron and Mospit Skeleton Ace. These are some weird drafts. All of these drafts have been weird. Florahedron's good, nothing special in green-white. It's a lot better in green-blue or a deck that's more mana-hungry. I think I'd take Skeleton. Skeleton and Ooze, in green-black counters is really good. Green has got to be wide open. This pack was good, but the Gecko and the Bite came back. Only the Adventurer got taken. I think I prefer the Gecko. The Skeleton already is kicker, but I'm also trying to be a counters matter deck, and I can prioritize kicker cards even if I'm not blue. That's a close pick. There's nothing wrong with taking Rabid Bite, but I already have a Rabid Bite and a Vanquish, and it's still pack 1, so I can kind of build around the Gecko, I think. I'm going to try pretty hard to play green-black, but, I could still play green-white splash-black, I guess, actually. The red cards are pretty unexciting, but if I open good white, I could easily splash Mospit and maybe Vanquish. Mospit Wheeling doesn't tell us black's open, but it does tell us that green-black is open. And that's what really matters. If somebody passing me is like, green-blue, I'll still get the green-black kicker stuff. So this pack, Expert, Pack Beast, Fortification, none of these cards are amazing. Expert's good in any deck, even if you're like a counters matter deck and it doesn't really have synergy. Pack Beast isn't going to do that much, I don't think, in a green-white landfall or green-black counters matter. Yeah, there is an Eruption, but I'm trying not to look at red. My red cards are not very good. Like, I don't really... I could end up splashing red if I get green fixing, I guess. I think Fortification is right. Fortification is a lot better in a counters matter deck, and we already have the Ooze and the Skeleton, and we're guaranteed to play it. Sadly, Baloth, just because it gets counters for 11 mana, is not actually a real card in this deck. It's okay in a rampy deck, but we're not going to try and have 7 mana out. This is a pretty clear Thort, though. Thort back all my good stuff. You don't have to be a party deck to Thort. And while I do want Gnarl Colony and Sidecap pretty bad, they're both good green creatures. They work really well with all my stuff. This is an easy Deadly Alliance, just a good removal spell. Can't believe these Royal Eruptions are going around so late. Like, that card is so busted, but Gloom Hunter's obviously very good for this deck. What is going to... People drafting Zendikar, take Royal Eruptions. I should not be seeing all these Royal Eruptions. This is ridiculous. I mean, if they table, I'll take them and splash. I did just pick up the Reclaim. I don't know what's going on in this draft. Obviously, I'm supposed to be red this pack. There's a Thundering Rebuke and 2 Royals, but... I mean, I didn't see great red in pack 1. Like, I didn't see any Royals in pack 1. And the black-green is flowing, too. I mean, I did get Deadly Lines, like, 3rd, and... I mean, remember, I tabled the Rabid Bite and the Vine Gecko pack 1. I know, I mean... I'd like to have those Royals. I got the Reclaim, so now I can splash if I want to. Probably won't splash Fledgling and Takedown, because Fledgling's a 2-drop, unless I pick up a bunch more Fixing. But, you know, it is a good card with Ooze, and with Skeleton. And Takedown is a land spell modal removal. Yeah, I don't like Hazard that much, though. Like, it's fine, obviously. It's a land spell modal, but I don't think it's a very good card. There's not a lot of great 1-toughness creatures in this format. I'm pretty happy to play green-black with what I have. Remember, Gecko also... I mean, it works with black kicker cards, too, not just blue-green. Like, I have Blood Beckoning, Reclaim the Waste, Gloom Hunter, Moss Pit Skeleton. That's 4 kicker cards. Hopefully I can get a few more. Yeah, that's true, Tetra. There was a lot of late bad red cards. Like, there was a lot of Teeter Peak Ambusher and Fisher Wizard coming late. I just never really saw good red cards. They've been tough drafts today. I mean, I don't know. Some days you get hit in the head with the deck. Some days you got to draft the hard way. Like I said, I'm pretty proud of the Black-White Clerics deck. I mean, we really went 3-2, not 2-3, right? Like, I misclicked away a game. I don't think this is a deck that particularly wants Mind Drain, right? I mean, I don't know that I'm going to play a second turn Timber Ascetic, but maybe. It's actually not a bad 5-drop for power decks like this, and I can get it back with Thornton Blood Beckoning. I don't think I want discard. I think I want to be adding to the board. Well, the Royal tabled, so now we can consider splashing that. I don't know what's going on, but this is best of 1, so I don't need a sideboard card like Broken Wings, and Seagate is not offering me anything. So if we splash, we're going to be concerned with more fixing than we are with more like mediocre stuff to splash, so I think we pretty clearly take the Reclaim. So now we can do a splash pretty easily, right? We can pick up like Kazul's Fury here, it's over nothing. And then we have 2 Reclaim the Wastes. So now we can splash like white or red pretty easily for like Takedown and Fledgling, or for Royal and like Kazul's Fury. So with double Reclaim and like a red land spell modal and a white land spell modal, we'll see what happens this pack, but we're in good position to splash if we want to. So Vastwood Fortification looks good. Puts counters on everything, works with the Ooze. It's just also just good with Gloom Hunter, lets us buy back Skeleton. Gecko lowers the casting cost of it. It's also another source for splashing, which I think we're pretty interested in at this point. And I mean, the only other card to consider would be Shepherd, which would be fine off the splash, but that's not where we want to go. This looks like a pretty easy Gnarled Colony. The only argument to take Gloom Hunter over it would be if we think we have a better chance to table the Colony. I mean, Colony's a better card than Gloom Hunter. Green does seem more open in this pod, but I think that's like unnecessarily greedy. Yeah, Royal Eruption's the best common in the set by a lot. I mean, look, it's not a broken card. It's not a mythic common or anything. But it's, like, indisputably the best common in the set, in my opinion. Okay, so green, black, splash red or white. We don't want to splash Song Mad, even if we put 2 mountains in our deck, so Probably just grab Visionary here. We already have Blood Beckoning, Enthort. Even though, yeah, we want kicker cards. I mean, we just have the one Gecko. Pretty sure this is a pretty clear Visionary. Visionary is a nice card in decks like this. So now we do have to decide, because Sidecat is good for us, but I mean, we could splash double Royal. We have double Reclaim the Waste and Vastwood Surge. And if we're definitely gonna splash red, then I would rather take Royal than Sidecat here. Sidecat's a good card for us, but with double Reclaim and Vastwood Surge, I think I'm gonna splash red, right? Kazul's Fury is a nice late game card. We can just splash, like, Royal Kazul's Royal, play, like, a mountain, have a million sources. Well, I got to assume we're not wheeling either. I mean, don't get me wrong. We might have wheeled this Royal, like, 11th pick, or we might wheel the Sidecat 11th pick. I mean, green seems wide open in this pod, and I don't know what's going on with all these Royal eruptions. But, I mean, it's not like when you open one, right? This is pick 4, so, like, we're getting it back. We were talking about, like, 12th or something. So you really shouldn't count on wheeling either. I actually don't think I'm going to play the Hazard, because I don't want to have more mountains in my deck, really, because I have so much fixing and so few red cards, and the Hazard's not a good late game card. Like, obviously, I would never cut Hazard from a base red deck, because it will just replace a mountain, but in this case, I'd rather have 1 or 2 mountains. Even if I play a second mountain, it'll be so that if they mill one, I can still search for one, or so I can search for 2, but, like, I'm probably just going to play 1 mountain, right? I still have Kazul's Fury. If I don't get any more red to splash, I have Kazul's Fury as a backup. I'll search the mountain turn 1 before they can even mill me a lot of the time. And I don't need 2 mountains. I don't need more red sources. I have 2 Reclaims, Surge, the mountain, plus Kazul's Fury. So that's 5 red sources for 2 Royal Eruptions. Remember, there is a cost to sticking more mountains in your deck. It's not that it comes into play tapped. It's that this deck doesn't want more red lands. Like, if you're a red-white 2-color deck, then you want 9 red lands or whatever. So you can always replace a mountain with a Spikefield Hazard. But in this deck, I only want to play 1 basic mountain. So what am I replacing with Spikefield Hazard? I'm replacing a Forest or Swamp. I want those for green or black. I'm replacing a better spell. It's a pretty weak spell. Like, obviously, if I get a Coon Warrior, I'm going to play it. Spikefield Hazard just doesn't work that well off the splash. I mean, Kazul's Fury is a better late game card, similar, and I'm not 100% I'm going to play the Fury, but I probably am. It's nice to have some backup in case they mill my only mountain if I play 1. But, like, the Hazard, I'm pretty confident I'm not going to play. Alright, this is an easy size cat. I do love Sidecat. I mean, we're not, like, super counters matter deck. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you know, Orient Reef is busted with that stuff. We didn't get any other things, though, that are counters matter. So we just have the ability to bring Skeleton back and the Ooze. We didn't see any Iridescent Beetles the whole draft. We didn't even see the Black Common Trick, which is quite good in this deck. Alright, so Gnarled Colony or Balaged here. How's our 2-drops? We don't actually have that many 2-drops. I think I'm going to go with the Colony. Balaged's a stronger card, but Colony fires on all cylinders in our deck. And we don't have a ton of 2-drops, and this is pack 3. We have 1, 3, 4, 5 2-drops, counting the Colony we just took. And, like, they all have kicker and stuff, so, like, if we draw multiples, we can always play them later. Ari, you scratched me. My cat just scared me. If you saw me jump, that was because my cat just started pawing at me. That wasn't nice. I'm so nice to you. My cat just, like, pawed me off screen. I don't think you could see it. Maybe you could. I'm not sure. Whatever. We're not going to splash that. We're not going to play this. There's no sideboarding. None of these cards are making our deck. Whose side are you on? You're so sweet. So the 11. So the next pack's the one we're hoping to table. Sidecat. I don't think that was the same pack. I probably miscounted by a pick. But I'll take that Feed to Swarm. Yeah, I'm going to play the 2 Turn Timbers. If I got that 3rd, I might even play it. We'll see what my curve looks like. We also have the 2 Reclaim the Waste, so we're pretty good at getting to 5 lands. But, of course, we don't have too many expensives. We'll see what the curve ends up looking like. All right, so firstly, how many lands are we going to play? Reclaim is a land. So we have 2... 3. We didn't get any green or black land spell models. Oh, Fortification. So 4. So we have 4. If the 2 Reclaims and the 2 land spell modals, basically. And this is a fairly mana-hungry deck, so we'll probably play like around 15 lands plus those. So 7, 13, 17, whatever, 15 for the moment. So we have to cut 2 of these cards. Deadly Alliance, it's going to be pretty expensive in our deck. Obviously, we're not cutting it. I'm just thinking about the curve as far as the 3 Ascetics. None of these lower the cost of it. None of them do. Just the 2 Visionaries. So I don't want to have too many expensives. I'm going to cut 1 Ascetic. And then, what's the last cut? I mean, it could be the Fury. If we play 2 Mountains, I could definitely cut the Fury. Well, because, like, I think I might... Well, the Fury's pretty good in this deck, though. We have a lot of decent-sized creatures to throw at them in the late game. I think I'll probably play 1 Mountain and Fury. Thort does get back... Well, it doesn't get... It gets back 2 creatures, because we have the Ascetics and the Visionaries. So we have 4 targets to have it get back 2. That's a good reason to play another Ascetic, though. Because Thort, we need to have a party type by the late game to be able to get back 2. Because it gets back 1 non-party type. But our only party types are these 2 Visionaries and these 3 Ascetics. But, I mean, what else can we cut? Like... We do have a lot of removal, but, I mean, you can't really have too much removal. I mean, I could play 1 less land. Could play 14. Especially if we'll have enough colored sources. Maybe I'll cut, like, the Fury. The Beckoning, I like the Beckoning. I mean, it's good with Gecko. Also, we just have a lot of good creatures to get back. Visionaries, Ascetics, Scythecat, Gnarled Colonies. Like, we can play these as 2/2s, trade them off, and then get them back. Kind of like the Beckoning here. I think the Fury is probably my worst card. I think I'm going to end up cutting Fury and an Ascetic. Or, like, a land. So, let's see. We want to have, like, 10 green sources because we're relying on our claims for fixing. So, let's say 9 plus the fortification. 1 mountain should be fine. And then for swamps, you can count the reclaims, but we probably can't go much lower because that's like around 8 and black's a main color. So that's 9, 10, 16. Yeah, we're going to cut the Fury. And then I guess I have to cut 1 swamp. That gives me like 7 plus the Surge is 8. That's a little dicey. Maybe I could only have 9 green sources. Kind of have to have 6 swamps, I think. So that's 15 lands. And then I think my last cut has to be Ascetic or maybe like Feed the Swarm. I don't want to cut a Feed. It's still good removal. I think we just play 2 Ascetics. If we play these long, grindy games, we should find 1 Ascetic or 1 Visionary if we draw Thort, right? That's 4 different cards. We only need 1 of those 4 to get back 2 things. It's not like Thort gets back 2 party types. I don't know, Faders. I don't actually feel like I splash a ton in this format, except if I'm green, I do a lot of really light splashes. Does Kyle draft a lot of green? Because with Reclaim at common, it's so easy to splash, like, Deadly Alliance or, like, Royal Eruption, and you get, like, 4 sources off, like, you know, a land spell modal and 1 basic or something. Like, I don't splash very much outside of green decks in this format. But it's hard for me to imagine somebody's drafting like green, blue, green, black, grindy, kicker type decks, and they have 2 Reclaim the Waste and they don't want to play their 2 Royal Eruptions or their 2 Deadly Alliances. Yeah, I hardly ever splash if I'm not green. So my guess would be if you noticed another streamer doesn't splash as much, they're probably not drafting green very often, would be my guess. Because, like, you know, you don't see me splash very often in my, like, blue-white. I know I did tonight, but I don't do it very often. In my, like, blue-white or black-white or whatever decks. It's just green decks that you splash a lot in. But I think you should, certainly. Like, if you have 2 Reclaim the Wastes, you're literally going to have fine mana, and not splashing a single red good removal spell like Royal or a single black good removal spell like Deadly Alliance when you have 2 Reclaim the Wastes, like... Well, no, I'm not arguing. I'm saying, like, my theory would be if you're not seeing it, they're probably not drafting green as often, would be what I would guess. I'm going to play this as a land because with Surge, we can't really flood. Just kind of want the extra lands. I say we can't really flood, so of course we won't draw a spell the rest of the game. I wouldn't worry that much about getting milled. Like, if you have 2 of a land, it's near impossible that they're going to mill both. If you have 1, it can be an issue. But, like, if you have double reclaim, you can just go fetch it turn 1 most of the time. Like, you should proactively fetch it if you're up against a blue-black deck or something. But, I mean, most decks don't mill you that often. Even blue or black decks, they're not going to have that much mill because those cards aren't that good. If they're blue-black rogues, maybe you want to board in your second let basic to make sure your 1 doesn't get milled, or you definitely want to aggressively search for it. But I wouldn't worry about it that much. It feels really, really bad when it happens, but it just doesn't happen that often. You have to draw your 1 or 2 cards you're splashing, and they have to mill the 1 or 2 basics you have. Like, it just doesn't happen that often. Okay, so we're 2 lands away from kicking Surge. We're certainly not going to play it unkicked. I mean, we could Deadly Alliance the Blightblade to be able to attack, but with double Low Mage's Familiar, I don't think this game's ending anytime soon. So I think I'm just going to chill. Blue-Green's late game is scary, but Vastwood Surge with Kicker is scary too. And I want to be able to Deadly Alliance a Flyer and play a long game here, I think. I don't think I want to Deadly Alliance Blightblade and attack for 4. It's 8, but it's 7 because of the Gecko, but we have 5, so we're 2 lands away, I think. JP. I mean, I need to draw 1 more land, but I mean, we're 2 turns away, is what I mean. Like, you know, I know I have a land in my hand, but we only have 2 creatures right now, so we're not, like, in a super rush to do it anyway. I don't want to trade Gnarl Colony for Blightblade. I don't have a party type yet to get back. And, like, when I Surge, all my stuff gets bigger, and Gnarl Colony will give it all trample. I'm cool with a stalemate for now. Alright, so we can play that. Still don't think we have an attack, but we can play that kicked. When we stop drawing creatures now, we'll probably Surge. But hopefully we'll keep drawing creatures to play, so then we won't Surge for a little while. Well, I mean, I can always play the land and Surge. I guess if they kill the Gecko and then I draw a land, yeah, I probably should play the land, because blue isn't going to make me discard. I do have a landfall creature or 2. Not many, but I have, like, 1 Scythe Cat. So that's a reason to hold the land. I won't hold 2 lands for sure. If I draw a land, I'll play it. Alright, so now what do we want to do? I could kill the Colony and the Blightblade. It's pretty clear they don't have removal. Then if they want to kill the 5/5, what do? They, like, triple block? Not exciting. My creatures have trample. Maybe I feed the Swarm the Colony, and then what I'll do is attack this Nahiri, and I can Deadly Alliance the Blightblade after blockers and trample over. Probably. Otherwise, if they make, like, a multi-block, then I can use Deadly Alliance or just the big creature, like, effectively. I need to play the land because I have no party types out. I mean, if they're going to Shell Shield, I'm just going to Deadly Alliance Nahiri because I would rather kill their good creatures and attack Nahiri, but I'm looking for a stalemate right now. They're probably not holding any flyers. They've had tons of time to put them in play. And, I mean, I didn't want to, like, play the land first, respond with Deadly Alliance, because then their blocks are too good. So, that's why I did it like that. If that resolves, then I would attack, and the Deadly Alliance would blow them out in combat, either with Trample on Nahiri or on a double block. But if they had the Shell Shield there, I think what we want to do is just play for the stalemate. Stalemates are fine. I mean, we have Vastwood Surge and we have Thort. I'm not against a stalemate. So for now, do I want to block? It's not really a great trade. I'd probably block when I have a way to get counters and get something back, but since I don't want to surge yet, I probably shouldn't block yet. I will say, they are amassing quite a board. I know I'm at 16, but if they kill something and attack, like if they bubble snare the 5/5, I'm going to end up having to trade stuff off. Probably going to have to surge pretty soon. 5, 9, 13, 14, 20. But they're at 30. This isn't really going well. I mean, I have a bunch of removal. Hopefully I can draw removal. Just more lands. So 4, 5, 8, 11, 15, 17, 19, 21. So if I surge, I can't really attack. In that case, I don't know that there's a reason to defensive surge. This is ugly. I'm like super flooding. I mean, I do have plenty of answers. Like, I can feed the Sentinel and only lose 3. What do I have? Like, 2 feeds and a Rabid Bite. Visionaries and Ascetics are both okay draws. I am getting worked. This is going to go down as my worst record on stream ever, it looks like. My decks were good, I think. But I think my draws have just been ugly all day. I guess you can flood with Surge if you draw all lands. I mean, I was figuring I would play it with Kicker and, you know, that would be great, but it didn't really work out. So if I go to 8, then I go to 2, then I die. If I block, I take 5, I'm at 9. Then I block again next turn if I draw a way to get Skeleton back. Yeah, so I think I need to block here. This is not pretty. The Surge just wouldn't really have done anything because I couldn't attack because then they would just swarm me for lethal. So, and my creatures were already big enough. If nothing else, now I'm going to Surge. At least it'll put Skeleton on top. Although I don't know if I actually want to do that. But I think I pretty much just lose now. But I don't think at any point Surging would have been enough value to do anything important. I am excited about tonight's opening night for the NBA. Pretty weird opening night for the NBA in December. It's usually in October. Alright, well, that buys me a little time. I assume I don't have enough mana to play that in Surge. If I'm choosing between the two, it's definitely that. On the bright side, I can block with the Ascetic on the Blight Blade and then thwart that back too, so that's kind of nice. Can buy me a little more time. Obviously, I'm still looking bad, especially given they field researched, but I can gain another 3 life now, assuming thwart resolves. I mean, I have outs to the Sentinel. I have double feed the Swarm. Like, I have plenty of removal. Rabid Bite. Yeah, they could deck. They still have 11 cards. It's quite a few. Okay, so what are we doing? I can't Royal. That does make me want to play the Surge, because then I can get a Mountain, and then I can Royal the Sentinel. I have to play Thwart, I think. So, Gecko plus Thwart this turn. I go to 11. I'll have, like, 4 blockers, so I should be okay on the ground. I take 4 down to 7. Then I Surge. I go to 3. I mean, I might die to the Swarm the next turn. I'm at 7, going to 3. I block 4 ground creatures. I do take lethal. Do I have enough mana to not play Gecko, to play Surge for Mountain on Kicked and Thwart? 4, 5, 8, 9. No, I'm 1 short of that. So that's not even an option. I mean, I can't not Thwart, so that means it has to just be Gecko and Thwart this turn. I have to get back Ascetic. And just put out creatures. They have like 10 creatures out. I mean, I could top deck the Mountain, or the Reclaim. That gets Mountains on tap. So I'm on a 3-outer to be able to Royal next turn. I could also draw Feed the Swarms. Do they have something? I mean, they could have removal for Colony, but they have a counter? If they counter this, I'll just concede. If they have a counter, they're thinking, I don't know what's going on. You know what? They might have Drari Disruption, and they were thinking about making me pay so I couldn't play Gecko. I don't know if that's the case, but it could be, so I'm just going to play the land before I Gecko. I was only holding the land for the one Scythe Cat anyway, and I'm going to play around Drari Disruption now, because that could be what they were holding there. Well, the 38 life isn't that big of a concern, because if I'm going to win, it's probably going to be by decking them. I don't think I'm going to win. They have decent ground attacks now, too, with that spellcraft. I assume the all-out attack is going to kill me. Let's see. If I go 4-4 on 3-2, 2-2 on 3-2, 2-2 on 3-2, that's one potential block. That's 13 and I'm dead. If I switch the 4-4 over to the 4-4, it saves like a point. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, Feed the Swarm's fine. The one I drew was a good removal spell. Like, you know, they Shell Shield. I didn't lose any life. Whatever. It's 2 mana. They just outspelled me too much there. It is what it is. Oh, you don't have to choose Cat King. Benes on the computer and basketball on the TV, and you can alternate the volume. Would you really rather hear Mark Jackson or me? I actually love Stan and Mark. They're like my favorite commentary duo. Or sorry, Jeff. Stan is the old coach of the Heat, but Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. Am I trying to get to top 1200? Am I trying to get out of top 1200? Yeah, I'm trying my hardest. We're 2-7 today. Ooh, no swamps. Looking good. I feel like I'm being like trolled today with my draws. I like their back and forth. They have a good rapport. They're like, you know, fun to watch. I mean, I don't watch for like, you know, it's not like they're giving expert strategical analysis or something, but they're like, you know, they're fun to watch. Yeah, no swamps, but we have like 9 black or 8 black, and like we had our green 2-drop. Visionaries draw cards. I mean, this is a late game card. My draws have been really ugly today. I mean, like, I punted a game or two. The drafts have been hard, but, like, really, like, I just keep drawing floods and screws and mana problems and so on all day. I mean, that's just the truth. Okay, so we can reclaim Visionary or Surge. Once we kick Reclaim, we already have 6 lands. Visionary draws cards. So I think we just go Visionary here, planning to kick Reclaim and kick Surge. Because next turn we can go kick Reclaim, play a Swamp, and the turn after that we can play Swamp and Gloom Hunter. Dorisburg's Gas. So now, yeah, this is just easily Reclaim and Swamp. The only question is, do we attack? They have a blue up, so there's no reason to let them play their Chilling Trap or Duelist or something. Just go get 2 Swamps. Because if they don't have anything, they can block it. It's an even trade anyway. And we'd rather creatures stay in play. I mean, this is lowering the cost of Deadly Alliance, plus it's going to get bigger with Vastwood Surge later. So there's not, like, we don't want to offer an even trade where they can use a trick. Like, there's no real upside for us here. I'm not going to argue semantics, but I think that Feed the Swarm is not really conditional removal. Like, I agree that it's more like you pay an extra price. Like, in addition to mana, you pay some life. Yes, like, it doesn't just kill whatever you want whenever you want, but I mean, like, that's true of anything. Like, Deadly Alliance can't kill a creature with Hexproof or Pro-Black. I would view Feed the Swarm just like, you know, as a removal that does you 3 damage or something, you know? So I'm going to play the Gloom Hunter kicked, see if they have anything. Hopefully not. Even though the Visionary can't block the Stalker, again, they keep leaving mana up and not using that much. They probably have some kind of trick. I'll probably put the Visionary on the Geyser Mage here if it attacks, but I don't really want to attack into their trick there. I mean, I'm going to probably have to block. And I don't really care that much about the Visionary now. So, you know, I'm probably going to block with it and let them play their trick. But there's just no... It'll save the 3 damage then. And there's no need to attack right into it. So, like, even though the Stalker's the better creature, I'm probably going to block the Geyser Mage. I assume there's a good chance they're going to have something, but, like, I just don't really care about this. I just want to keep my life total up, hopefully draw more creatures, Blood Beckoning Storts, whatever. I have removal. So, no real decisions. Let's get this going. Don't know if they can kill it or not. Hopefully not. But we can take one more hit before we feed the Stalker anyway. I mean, listen, we're mostly arguing semantics, Flardamon. I'm not necessarily even saying you're wrong. Like, who knows the technical, semantical argument. But I would view Feed the Swarm as a main deck removal, not like a situational removal. Because your life totals just aren't going to be that low most of the time. You can just fire it off on their 2, 3, 4 drop, whatever. And especially in the kicker format, because you can use it late game to kill a kicked card like Ghastly Gloom Hunter, Gnarl Colony, etc., and you don't even lose that much life. Yeah, a Subtle Strike would make sense. I could see that. But don't you think they would have probably used it the turn they attack with Geyser Mage and I blocked with Visionary? Oh, they only had double blue up. Did they play a black card that turn pre-combat or something? I mean, they didn't need to. The auto-tapper might have got them. Subtle Strike makes sense. It made sense based on the way they played the game up until that point. Maybe, I don't know why they didn't have a black up on that turn, but... I guess, they Deadly Alliance the Gloom Hunter, right. And so, yeah, Subtle Strike makes a lot of sense. You're probably right, as usual, chat. Well, that's a good draw. Throw it back like the Ascetic and the Visionary, I think. I'd rather just draw another card than get a 1-1. You can't kick it when you bring it back, or the Gecko, even if it can grow to a 3-3. I'd rather get another card, so... This looks like pretty easy. I'm going to always hold 2 lands. I have the Scythe Cat, and they could have Mind Drain. They have a million cards in hand, and they're playing blue-black. But I can't hold too many lands, because my cards are expensive. I might want to play Surge, Kicker, and Feed or something. I'm pretty much just going to always hold 2 with this deck in this hand, in this matchup. Three feeds. I don't like main decking situational removal like Broken Wings unless I have ways to like rummage or loot it away. Whereas feed, I'll just trade with their early drops if I have to, and occasionally it kills like a good flyer, like it's about to or whatever. Okay. This looks like feed and attack with the 5/4. I don't want to trade Visionary for their 2/1 because I have Vastwood Surge, and as soon as I don't have creatures to play anymore, I'm going to play the Vastwood Surge. So I can Deadly Alliance now, and then everything will fizzle, and I will not lose 5 life, or I can let the Rebirth happen in Deadly Alliance later, and they'll lose 2 and I'll lose 5. Seems like a good deal. I can't Colony this turn now, but it is what it is. We wanted to remove Falconer. It's not 2 for 1-ing myself. They used Rebirth. We traded Feed and Deadly for Rebirth and Falconer. The question was just how did we minimize life loss there. I mean, look, if we were way ahead in life, we could have let them take 2, and we would have took 5. And then we could Deadly Alliance the Falconer. But we're not way ahead in life. It's, you know, Their deck's probably more controlling. Like, we would probably choose to have both players lose 2, but I don't think we want to choose to have them lose 2 and us lose 5. So this turn I'm just going to play the colony. I'm not going to attack because I don't want trades. I'm going to surge as soon as I don't have creatures. 4, 8. So I'm not going to have mana to surge and Rabid Bite, but I'm not Rabid Biting away a 2-1 ground creature, so we'll just see what we draw. If we draw a creature, I will play it. If we don't, I will surge with Kicker. I'm more than happy to surge for just these 3 creatures. But if I draw creatures, I'd rather add creatures to the board because I'm under no pressure. Well, there we go. That adds 2 more creatures to the board, so that's an easy choice. I could attack now. I have to think about that. So if I go for Rabid Bite, they can't kill it in response, only bounce it. I could Rabid Bite the Skulker. Oh, they don't have another Rogue out. Okay. So they could have Duelist in hand, but it's a bite, not a fight. So let's say I Rabid Bite the Skulker using, like, Ascetic. If they have Duelist, that doesn't work. If they have Shell Shield, whatever. If they bounce it, I can get another 3 life. That seems fine. And I'm pretty happy to remove it now, because if I attack, they can give it Death Touch and -2, -0, and I don't really want to lose my creatures. And I would like to attack this turn. Alright, Shell Shield, then we'll just have to figure things out. Well, now I probably won't attack. If I send the 5/4, they can just double block. Yeah, and I'm happy with the stalemate because I have Surge. I didn't really want to trade creatures off anyway. I can't play around Disruption and Mind Drain, and I think it's better to play around Mind Drain. It's common, plus Disruption's going to be annoying regardless, because Surge costs 8. And really just Disruption is an uncommon, and Mind Drain's a common. And they've been holding spells the whole game, so I do want to play around Mind Drain here. Hey, thanks Marsh. Appreciate the subscription. I have not played any Arena Cube. So again, the plan is pretty much to Surge as soon as I don't have creatures to add into play at this point. I mean, if the Surge is ever lethal, I'll do it, because I have the Gnarl Colony. So if they're tapped out, we can just count the damage, because it's a lot, right? Like, they're at 15, but right now Surge is +9, and all my creatures will have Trample. So that's what, 8, 10, 14, so it's 23 points of Trample if I Surge. But remember, they could have 1 bounce or removal or something. So, like, basically the plan is to Surge as soon as I don't have any more creatures to add to play. So I was going to Surge that turn if I didn't draw a creature, but then I drew Blood Beckoning, so I'm like, okay, let me put 2 more creatures in play before I Surge for more value. What's up, Yodelmeister? Alright, so now, we have to do some counting, but let's assume they remove our 1 biggest creature, like the Ascetic, right? Like, they might not be able to. They have 2 cards, and one of them is probably Subtle Strike. But maybe they can, right? The trick they had in the early game could have been the Rebirth also. But so let's just say they can remove Ascetic just for the moment. 4, 7, 9 plus 7 is 16. So if they remove Ascetic, they still have to make some blocks on these. They take a lot of Trample. It's pretty good. But Reclaim Gloomhunter is also pretty good, and I'm really not scared of anything. If they tap out for Geyser Mage, I'm going to have 4 creatures anyway, and then they're tapped out. So I think I'm just going to play it safe like I've been doing. Yeah, they could remove the Colony too, and then we don't have Trample, that's true. I think we just play it safe. I mean, my cards are only getting better here, right? Oops, I'm going to play a land now. They'd have to have double Mind Drain, and even if they did, that would be their turn, and I would just have a great attack next turn. Also, they clearly don't have double Mind Drain unless they top deck Mind Drain, because they would have emptied my hand. They could very easily be holding 1 Mind Drain, but they can't be holding 2, or they would have just played them both and emptied my hand on previous turns. So now we should be able to Surge for the win. 5, 9... Probably going to bounce Gecko. I thought they would have bounced Gloomhunter. I guess I get the counters back on the Gloomhunter, and I don't get the counters back on the Gecko, so I guess that's a reason. So that makes it seem like they might have an answer. It doesn't matter. I don't need to attack with the Gecko. Now I get maximum counters. So now it's just pretty easy, I think. Gecko, and then Surge with Kicker, and then attack, and they've got what they've got. we have a massive force now. Assuming they don't have negate. Assuming this resolves. We've played with our food long enough. It's time to eat dinner. Yeah, they might have an Inn of the Royal. I wouldn't be surprised. Or like a Deadly Alliance for 2. They have 3 types out. But like, if they kill one of our creatures, it's still a great attack for us. Their Skulker doesn't even have Death Touch. So like, if they bounce a colony, sure, my stuff doesn't have trample, they're not dead, but I mean, it's like double block Visionary, take 12 or something, or chumped Ascetic, like. Basically, the key here was not counting an amount of damage, but putting all our creatures in play before we surge. If we're not under any pressure, why would we surge if it's not guaranteed to be lethal or that close to it until we've emptied our hand, right? At that point, if it looks really good, you can do it. If it doesn't look like it might be enough, then you may want to wait even longer and see if you top deck creatures. But like, you know, with this size creatures in play, basically as soon as I emptied my hand, I was going to surge, but I wasn't going to surge before I emptied my hand because I'm under no pressure. I am not sick of ZNR. I love this format. How about you, Ryan? Are you cubing? Are you playing this? What are you up to these days? When all your creatures are bigger than all of theirs, math is in fact for blockers. I'm not sure, John Orange. In this case, 1 kind of did equal 0. It equaled a 0% chance to win. So that basically does equal 0. Cool, cool. You got bored of Zendikar? I mean, this format's not, like, particularly aggressive. Although it's not really that, like, controlling either. It's really just, like, kind of like a creatures in play. Like, it's like a... Like, things are always, like, trading. I don't know. This format's very, like, mid-rangey. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you both always have a bunch of creatures in play, and there's, like, you know, attacking going on, and then there's life gain and life loss consistently. It's like, it feels like a very mid-rangey format to me. Well, I was definitely going to play Fortification. I think I still am. Maybe not. Actually, I can go Gecko into Kicked Reclaim, so I don't need to play Fortification. Well, let's just feed that first. I'm not missing land drops, and they're the aggro deck, and I don't want to let a turn 2 Fledgling go unchecked. Even though I won't necessarily use 3 mana next turn now, I mean, I think it's worth it to keep the life totals high. Turn 2 Fledgling is scary. And now that we've drawn all spells, I'm still just going to play the Fortification. Now, granted, if I had drawn like a single other land, I probably wouldn't have. But if they do Rabid Bite away the Gecko, I don't want to have 3 lands and no ability to do anything good next turn. Whereas now I'm just going to cast Visionary. Still got it, y'all. In my old age, I still got it. So normally I wouldn't make this trade, but with Thwart I probably will. Although I might want to wait a turn because I can't Thwart this turn if the creature dies, and I can't do anything except kick Reclaim. If I take it, I can Rabid Bite a creature if they play it. So this is an interesting spot. Like, I'm happy with the trade because it gives me a second creature for Thwart. I guess I'm still at 17, so if they play a good creature, I can take the one hit and just Reclaim this turn, and then I'll Thwart them both back out. And who knows if they have anything, so I definitely want to take the trade. Plus, like, Rabid Bite can kill better creatures later. Like, I didn't really... Like, what would I have Rabid Bited? Just the 1/1, and then the 3/2 isn't trading with anything. So I think that was a better play. Obviously, no decisions now. We can't Rabid Bite, but I would rather get the Scythe Cat going than cast Reclaim. We already have 6 lands for Thwart next turn. That's going to give them some decent pressure. I'm not going to chump block. We can decide between Thwart and Rabid Bite after we see what we get. So, if I get Gecko and Visionary and make the Scythe Cat a 4/3, I can trade the Scythe Cat for the 4/4, take 3. Otherwise, I can Vastwood Surge and then Rabid Bite away the Shepherd. And then my Scythe Cat's bigger than the 4/4, but I'm not thwarting. If I thwart, I draw a card and put Gecko in play. I'm only 1 land away from kicking the Surge. I think I just want to trade the Scythe Cat for the land and take 3 and go to 7. I mean, I know they get the Shelter back, but if they don't cast anything, I can just Surge with Kicker. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And, like, I have a lot of removal. I'll probably draw more. So we can do it all pre-combat and see what we draw. But I'm not planning to attack with the Scythe Cat because that's going to block the Zendikar here. I don't want to double block it. Even though they can then leave Shelter up, I'm only at 7, so, like, I assume they have to cast things. Like, if they just try and protect Shepherd the rest of the game, I can hopefully just beat them with Surge or something. Alright, so we're 1 land away from Surge. If we Reclaim with Kicker, then Gnarl Colony with Kicker, that looks like a pretty obvious turn. Rabid Bite's not going to be effective because they have the Shelter up now, so this, like, has to be correct. Hopefully they don't have, like, Might of Marasa or something random like that to beat us, but next turn we Surge for the win, so, like, it's not like we're losing the race and they can just keep leaving the mana up. I mean, that might happen because they don't know. Huh? Oh, it's only the first one each turn, so I can't play the Colony with Kicker. Alright, ooze it is. So be it. We are 1 mana short of that. My mistake. Gecko doesn't lower all your kickers by 1. It lowers the first card you kick every turn by 1. My bad, but that's okay. Nothing really changed. We lose to Might of Marasa. Hopefully they don't have that. Other than that, like, we can Surge for Infinite next turn. If they tap their mana to cast things, then Rabid Bite is on, so we don't lose to the Flyer. Well, now it gets tight, though, because I don't have enough mana to play the Colony and the Surge with Kick. But if I Surge with Kick, and then the Ooze attacks, I get more counters on everything. So are 2 of the creatures 15? 3, 5, 7... 9, 10, 12, 14. Is it really 14? So I Surge with Kicker. The Gecko grows to 4, so I have 2 4-power creatures, so they block one of them. And then they take, like, this is 6, 10, 12. Yeah, I can play the Colony first, but and then I can not Surge with Kicker, though, right? I'm a mana short. Well, I can make the Muse Shelter. But I'm not sure what that really accomplishes. 4, 7, 9. Either way, I'm dead to a pump spell, and either way, I'm not dead next turn. Like, unless they have a pump spell. Like, let's say 4, 7, 9, because... Oh, if they block and shelter and then swing back, you're saying. Right, right. So I have to just do the colony line. The colony rabid bite line. So we play colony and attack. 4, 8, 10, 13. And then we rabid bite. And then we still have the colony to block the nectar pot. We died of binding. I don't know if I want to do that. Feels pretty unnecessary to die to binding here. So I think I'll just send... Because next turn we're going to win by millions, right? If we don't die. Yeah, I'm going to rabid bite to pull the shelter. So I think I don't want to die to binding. So I think I'm just going to hold back 2 creatures. I'm not sure whether it does more damage to send the oof and the ooze in one of these and grow one. No, this does more damage. Because now they either... If they block and shelter, it's great for me. Because then I can kill the shepherd. If they take the 8, I bite the shepherd or whatever. They play the shelter, I lose to a pump spell. But next turn, I don't have to worry. Because next turn, I'll just kick Surge. So now is there a reason to bite? Probably not. Shelter doesn't change anything now, right? They'd have to have a flash creature, which I don't think exists. I mean, I lose to, a few cards. I mean, there's not like a ton, but Resolute Strike being one of them. I think I punted that game. If I had the Gnarl Colony out, were they dead to trample? The ooze wouldn't be out, so I'm not sure. I couldn't... So if I have the Gnarl Colony out, it's 4... Or it's 2... 10... 16... Yeah, so they have to block a creature. Yeah. And then oh no, but I still just die to the pump spell. Because I can't play the Surge and the Rabid Bite. Yeah, I don't... Because I leave more mana up and have more cards in hand, maybe they're less likely to go for it if they have, like, other blockers or something, Booty Sweat. Remember, they don't know that I have Surge, so they don't know they're super dead. We were 1 short of playing Colony for 2 and kicking Surge. We counted that, like, 4 times, unfortunately. Yeah, biting doesn't accomplish anything there. They just instantly play Shelter. So I'd rather represent more. I mean, look, I expected them to go for the kill if they had it. But again, they don't know I have Surge, so they don't know they're dead by miles. So maybe if, let's say they have a pump and 2 blockers, maybe they just attack and play 2 blockers and play it safe. Remember, the Surge is in my hand. They don't know I have the Surge. Y'all know that. Well, I wasn't really dead to the Nectar Pot on Pro Green. Like, they had to either block or I would have Rabid Bited or whatever. The deck is fully online. Well, hopefully after we search out 2 lands, we can start drawing spells, right? Alright, I don't want to miss counters, so let's play the Scythe Cat first. I mean, we lost a really close epic game. Like, it's not great, it's not horrible, it is what it is. Green-black is good. All the decks are fine in this format. You really don't have to avoid anything. Like, I know that's kind of my style in general, but some formats I'm like, yeah, blue is the best color or whatever. Like, this format, like, all the decks are good. I have 4 cats. Ariel, Lyra, Pickles, and Reptar. Which one are you asking about? I don't know which one you can see in the background there. I think that's Lyra that you're seeing behind me, looking over my shoulder. I mean, yeah, I 3-0'd this like LFM streamer draft with green-red landfall on Sunday. My deck was really good. I had like a bunch of Rabid Bites and Scythe Cats and like a lot of the good green cards. I guess I want to play a land. Exposes me a little bit to Mind Drain, but I'm also going to go Blood Beckoning with Kicker and replay creatures. So it's kind of important that I have the ability to Blood Beckoning the Ascetic and the Scythe Cat back if they kill the Ascetic, and then I can go Scythe Cat, play a land after. So I need one more land in play. Guide Beast Beatdown. Best of 1 is very high variance, that's true. I also punted a couple games. We also played a lot of really close games, like a lot of tight games today. Like, sometimes it doesn't break your way, that's alright. But I also, like, probably misclicked and strategically punted, like, 2 or 3 games. Okay, so yeah, now we're going to do what we said. Blood Beckoning back the 2 creatures. Play the Scythe Cat. No real decisions here. The Guide Beast was sweet against Legends blue-black deck in the finals, which was, like, really controlling. Had a sorcery speed sweeper and, like, no creatures. So the 1-mana 2/2 haste was awesome. It was streamed on LFM's channel, but, I mean, I also streamed it all, so it'll be in the Twitch VODs. And I titled it, you know, LFM Streamer Draft and everything. So if you want to see the whole challenge and, like, the other players, they were featuring different matches every round. Check out LFM_network. If you want to see, like, my matches and my, like, commentary, then just look at the Twitch VODs titled that. So we can't play both Ascetics, so now I'll hold 1 land to protect me from Mind Drain a little bit at this point. Well, that's not great, but we don't really have any choices. We have 8, so we can Reclaim with Kicker and play Ascetic. Looking for more. It was best of 3 Zendikar draft. They just invited like 8 streamers. It was like Mythic Michaela, Legend, Voxy, Jamie Topples, me, Mr. Metronome, Floopy Minx, and Amy the Amazonian, if I didn't say her. And we just did an 8-person pod. It was double elimination. Then I beat Legend in the finals. I actually think Floopy Minx had the best deck. I don't know if the 8 lists are posted anywhere, but she had an incredible red-black party with like Ravager's Mace, Blood Priest, Leyline Tyrant, and 3 Royal Eruptions, and Zoth Consumption, and a good curve. My deck was good. I had a good red-green landfall. Legend had a good blue-black control. I thought that Floopy had the best deck in the pod, and me and Legend had the 2nd and 3rd best deck in the pod. I'm just dead, right? Sorry, Lord Tupperware, not Metronome. They're the Lords of Limited guys, right? They're the same person. They're twins. Maybe they'll feel desperate and block with Captain and Blight Priest. I don't know. Marshall and LSB are twins too. 4-9, that's a good record. I think that's got to be my worst day ever on stream. In celebration, I will stream again tomorrow. 3 more Zendikar best of 1 drafts. Hopefully I'll draw better and we'll win more games. the draws have really been ugly tonight. Like, you don't have to flood every single game with your 17 land decks, like with 2 land spell modals or miscolors every opening hand and stuff. Nah, I'm going to end it tonight because I got a coaching session at 9 and I want to eat some dinner. But I'll be right back tomorrow. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 3 more Zendikar Best of Ones, same plan. Today, we had the great records of under 500 in all 3 drafts. I think I went 3 and 9. I didn't get 3 wins. I went 0-3, 1-3, and 2-3. A nice solid 25%, 3 straight drafts under 500. Lit all the gems on fire. Life is good. But like I said, I'll be right back tomorrow with 3 more drafts. Some days you get beat up. Who should I finish with a raid on tonight? Yeah, okay. I'll make a Twitter poll for tomorrow for whether I should play Cube or Zendikar, though. Okay, yeah, let's raid Metal Mario. He's raid from the stream a decent amount and now limited streaming himself. That sounds like a good raid. Yeah, I think I drafted the draft portions well. I mean, I don't think my decks were incredible. I don't think they were that bad. Like Ixo said, I think the games were just rough. And the draft seats were tough, and I put together pretty good decks in them, and almost certainly the correct colors. Things just didn't break my way in the games. And like I said, I think I punted 1 or 2 and misclicked 1 away. So, look, it's not a good night, obviously, but... So I'm going to raid Metal Mario. He's definitely somebody who's been in the stream a lot, and I've played against a bunch of times and stuff, and he's streaming drafts himself. And I'm going to run a Twitter poll for Cube or Zendikar tomorrow, since a lot of people do ask me about Cube. So follow me on Twitter or if you want to answer that poll. It's Benus_MTG, same exact name as on Twitch. Either way, whether I'm drafting Cube or whether I'm drafting Zendikar, I will definitely be back tomorrow drafting. I mean, barring unexpected calamities, like I always say. So for now, I'm going to leave you with a raid on Metal Mario, and I will see you tomorrow.